Are we live? I think we might be. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to another evening of coding in this Friday evening. It's actually not quite as dark outside, so it still feels like I should be maybe outside enjoying myself, but of course I'm here streaming with you guys and not enjoying myself outside, which is always good. But yeah, let's put the chat always on top. I'm gonna do some tests on the audio just to make sure that I can hear myself. Like, can I hear myself? That is the question. Yeah, I know I'm live because I'm getting the advert, so I guess everyone is also getting an advert, which is good. So yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm not quite in frame on the camera. But anyway, here we are. And yeah, we got some product placement today. We've got Coke Zero. That's what we're drinking tonight. And I'm not sponsored by Coke. I wish I was, but you know, Coca-Cola, hit me up. It's quite cold because I left it in the freezer just for like maybe just under 2 hours. So it's just at that point, just before it freezes. And it's just perfect for a warm evening like this one, where I have to actually sit down on a chair and spend time in front of the computer. Chumba, hi. Why are you using WSL instead of Linux? I see a trend that many are starting to switch to Linux and NeoVim. Chuchumba, I work both on Windows and Linux, so that's why WSL did. And I don't want to dual boot because my computer is quite old and I'll run out of space and resources very quickly with dual boot. So that's the reason. Hello, Brock Daniel. Welcome. And it's good to see you here, man. This is probably the third or fourth time I'm seeing you, dude. So yeah, thank you for the support. By the way, guys, make sure that you click on the like there. There's a like button right here. I'll show you guys right on this one here. If you click on that, that will help me quite a lot, okay? And yeah, let's get started. So today's stream, we're actually gonna try and create a trading bot, right? So we're gonna start creating a trading bot. And we're gonna do all of that in Rust because, well, why not? Rust is just kind of nice and easy and it's very memory safe. We're not going to be doing anything stupid with the language. And I just got like a random freaking WhatsApp message where I got added to a crypto chat. Like what the hell? The scammers are getting like smarter and smarter. I don't even know where they got my phone from. Anyway, so it fits in quite nice with the with the topic of the video today. So we're going to be doing all of that in Rust, and the idea is to basically create a very basic system where we can pull some market data, like as you can see here, from any API out there. We'll go over the APIs that I checked out, and there's so many of them, by the way, so many feeds as they're called. So feeds are the places where you can get like the real-time market data, right? The one we're going to be using today isn't quite real-time because, you know, you can get data every 5 minutes or so. But some of the real-time feeds are actually quite good, and you can get like real feeds every like second or every tick. So how long do you program? How long do I program? I mean, how long have I programmed for, or how long do I program today? Today I'm probably doing this for like 2 or 3 hours. But overall, man, I have been programming since I was 12, and I'm 27 now, so 15 years. That's the answer. Yeah, going back to this, so there's quite a few feeds. It would be nice if we can hook one of these up to Rust, right? And we're going to do all of that in a way that we can kind of support multiple feeds, right? So you can kind of request data from any API. And for that, we're going to be using like things like trades. We're going to be using some generic programming and some very easy to implement interfaces with Rust, right? So yeah, I mean, I think the first thing we can probably talk about here is like, where'd you get actually all the data from? So if you guys know about the stock market, right? So if you know, for example, if you search, for example, IBM on a NASDAQ, right? You can see here that you can get like prices for, you know, for IBM or whatever. And these are kind of coming in every second or every tick from a feed. And, you know, whatever you search on Google isn't really real time. If you're looking at doing, you know, proper trading, proper high frequency trading, or if you're looking at working at one of those companies, these guys basically pay someone to give them the real time data through an API. And these APIs are called, as far as I know, they're called feeds, right? That's what came up on Google when I was researching them. And there's like so many of them. There's like one called Polygon, which is quite famous. There's Alpha Vantage, which is the one we're using today, where you can kind of request like a particular stock data over the month or for the current day. There is also another one which was called DTN. This one seems to be more of a professional one and like more of a real-time one. But the problem is the price. Like if you look at the prices for these things, they are quite expensive. So Alpha Vantage, we're actually going to be using the free tier here, which actually gives you access to, I guess, up-to-date data. Is not really real-time, as you can see here. It's like every 5 minutes you get an update for a particular stock. But with some of these paid options here, which Alpha Vantage does offer, by the way, they do have a paid version. You can really get like real-time data coming in. So like a feed every, I don't know, every like second if you want, or every millisecond. But they're very, very expensive. So if you go through this one here, for example, which a lot of hedge funds seems to be using, a lot of hedge fund companies seem to be using. The calculator lets you select which kind of markets you want, which stocks you want to like look after. And if I put something like the FTSE 100 or the FTSE indexes for real time, it comes out to something like £140 a month, $140 a month, sorry. Which, you know, for a stream is quite expensive, so we're not going to go down that route yet. But I don't see a way, I don't see why we couldn't support something like this in the future, right? So it's just a different feed, supporting a different feed. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to do today. Perhaps we can probably talk a little bit about the architecture of the thing we want, right? So, well, the very first thing, obviously, that we have to do is to be able to get the prices into our program, right? So if you look here in the last year or so for IBM, I don't know why the graph is so messed up here. Let's change to a different one. So Alphabet, right? So Google. So Alphabet has something like this one. It seems a little bit more, well, a little bit less degenerate, so which is just pretty good. So the thing that we have to do first is actually just getting this data in, right? So we're gonna get this price API, this price data from an API somewhere, and we have to get it into a program so we can display like, you know, the current price of this particular stock is on this one, and you can kind of see the update every second or so. That would be very, very nice to do. So that's like, I feel like that's the first thing we should probably focus on, right? And a good way to do this would just to kind of pipe all the data that we get from an API onto a database and have some sort of like time index where you can kind of just request the latest index or the latest price for a particular stock, right? So, you know, let's go for that approach. So let's open here Excalibur. And by the way, how are you guys all feeling today? So how are you all feeling in this Friday evening? I'm guessing most of you were working, right? And I'm not actually quite sure if there's a lot of people watching me. But yeah, how are you guys doing? And what have you programmed today? How was your day? Please let me know in the chat. I actually only have 4 people watching me, which is not bad. It's more than 0, so I'm happy with that. Again, don't forget to stay hydrated. I guess some of you are in the UK, and it's very warm in the UK, so make sure that you're staying hydrated all times, right? So yeah, I mean, first thing we have to do, right? First things first. Should we say that let's say that we had something like a queue here, right? So we have a queue that's coming in, let's call it the price queue or something. So the index or update queue. Yeah, let's just call it price queue. And this queue is going to kind of hold all of the incoming prices that we get from an API. So this can be kind of any price, any sort of index that we're tracking here, right? So it can be like IBM, it can be Alphabet, Google, so it can be Facebook. So this can be anything. So this is gonna kind of take the prices from the API and then process them one by one in a queue, right? And then do something with that. So my idea here is to obviously have that API call here. So we have like something like, you know, Alpha Vantage requests. So we're going to be requesting, making some REST requests Alpha Vantage, getting the prices, putting them into the queue. And then from the queue, we're going to process them into a database, right? So let's say just a SQL database, and that's where we're going to store our prices. So I'll be very much happy if we can get something like this working today. We already have one piece of the puzzle. So the first piece of the puzzle is just figuring out the API for Alpha Vantage. And they have very, very good documentation pages that explain how you can request a particular price for a particular index over the past day or historical data as well. So you can actually get like all the prices for a particular month in any given year. And it's all free. It's all free for anyone to use here, right? So yeah, let's try and get that working first. So first things first, we kind of need to, where are we on this? So Alpha Vantage is going to be called in, right? It's going to be called from Rust. So we're going to be kind of making that request here. Let's say we data feed here or something. So the data feed, so Alpha Vantage is going to be some sort of like data feed. It's going to implement this sort of interface, right? So we have, hello Algovoid, how's it going? It's good to see you, man. And I'm hoping that you're doing amazing in this Friday evening. So yeah, the Alpha Vantage is going to be like an implementation of this theoretical thing that we call the data feed, right? And that will have methods such as, I don't know. Let's see here. So we can do something like update, and then we can request an update for a particular stock, right? Or a particular index. And this will return like the latest one. Let's just keep it simple for now and then just say that's what it's going to do for now, right? So Alpha Vantage is going to do that. But since we're going to be doing this in a very generic way with trades and interfaces here, we could also have one in the future for example, the Interactive Broker API. So Interactive Broker is also another big one, where another big website that you can kind of subscribe to and basically pay them to get data feeds. Doing great, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad, dude. I'm glad, dude. And yeah, all of these different data feeds will just be an implementation of our data feed. Now the price queue, this is just going to be like a queue of the price structure that we have in Rust. And we're probably going to have like a single thread at the start processing that queue, right? So that this is going to have to be a thread safe queue in Rust. And we're going to pop from the queue every time and then kind of just put things into the database. And I'll be very happy if we can do that in this stream, right? So we can kind of like set up for real-time data processing with a SQL database, right? So yeah, let's look at that. Let's do exactly this. So what I do want to kind of show to you guys is, well, I don't want to show to you guys, but I have created a Git repository here called Crustacean. I thought of a funny name that you can include something like crustacean. Can't even say the word crustacean and trading at the same time. So Crustacean is the one, and this is the one we're going to be working from, right? So let's look into that and see what we have. Now, obviously, looking at that's a very simple architecture that we have so far here. It's not very kind of difficult to figure out what kind of crates we're going to be using. So these things are going to be basically doing REST requests to an API, right? So I'll probably need the request crate, which is, for those who don't know, the request rate, it's a crate in Rust that allows you to do asynchronous requests, like REST requests. We're probably going to need some sort of like thread safe queue, although I can probably implement that with the standard library, right? I think that's fairly easy to implement with the standard library, but who knows? Maybe we'll use another crate for this as well. And SQL database, I think we can probably use SQLite at the start, right? So just for this exercise, we're gonna be needing 3 different things here. So on this side, we're gonna be needing, well, let me just put this in a different color. Why is it not in a different color? There you go. And this again. Just gonna put a different one here. So on this one, we're gonna just be doing some thread safe queue crates here. And then we're gonna have some sort of, well, SQLite. support for this one. And for the most important bit, which is the request stuff, this is probably going to be done with request, right? And you know, as the asynchronous backend here, we're probably just going to use Tokyo. Yeah, maybe Tokyo is fine here. But that's what we're going to use. Out of interest, how many of you guys have actually done any Rust before? So we're doing Rust now, and I want to know how much detail I have to go into when I'm explaining stuff. So has any of you actually done any Rust before? So yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get the analytics here on how many people are watching the stream, but I can't seem to. Yeah, 6 people. That's not too bad. Anyway, for those who are watching, make sure to like the stream, and yeah, just give me some help, dude. Give me some help. If you guys want to post comments, ask me questions as well. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to spend time with you guys. So let's get started. Yeah, first things first, we're probably going to have to create some sort of structure here, right? That will kind of hold the a particular index update, right? And if you guys actually look at what kind of data is returned from the AlphaVantage thing, so it seems like you always get these data points in a particular data timestamp, right? So you get a timestamp for a particular stock. So for example, I'm looking at the IBM one here, and we get the open price, the high price, low price, close price, and the volume. I believe the volume is how many of these shares were swapped or traded within the last time frame and this time frame here. And I have no idea what the other ones means. They're all prices for something, right? But I don't really know what open, high, low, and close kind of mean. So why don't we ask ChatGPT? Let's start using ChatGPT here, like any good developer. So, by the way, does anyone know what these things mean? Because if you do, just put it in the comment put it as a comment here in the chat. But if not, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT anyway. So what do the terms, yeah, high, low, what else was it? An AlphaVantage. So we have open, high, low, and close, right? Actually, quite a few different ones. Open, high, low, close. Is that everything, or was there any other term? Open, high, low, close, yeah, those were all. The volume, I guess, and volume, I guess, right? Mean in terms of a stock market data point. And let's see what ChatGPT spits out for us here, because I have no idea about these terms. By the way, as you guys can probably guess, I never actually worked with trading at all, so I've never done any trading software in the past. Well, with the exception of my very first job. So yeah, this is a funny story. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story now. So when I was still at university, I was hired by my friend's uncle who lived in London to develop a trading bot for him. And I wrote the entire thing in the worst possible Python code you can think of, using something called interactive brokers, which is the API that we might be using in the future, by the way. But I got paid something like 200 or 400 pounds to basically lose this guy a lot of money. So that was fun anyway. But yeah, dude, that was the worst experience ever, because like I knew nothing about stock trading at all, and this person was asking me to do like this very, very sophisticated piece of software that would support his trading strategy, and he would do it all with like very pretty graphics showing on the screen. So I was like playing with Matplotlib, and I was playing with like PyQt and stuff as well. And the stock, one of the APIs was like a multi-threaded API, and there was some really messed up threading issues in there, so race conditions that would just crash the thing in the middle of a trade and like for sure lose money. But yeah, I mean, after that, I've never touched trading again. But yeah, hello C, welcome to the chat, dude. Sorry if I'm a bit delayed in reading the messages, guys. I do apologize, because like when I'm talking and then I have to finish my point before I go over to to the messages. But it's good to see you again, dude. Barely know what a stock is. Let's get started with futures, options. Let's not get started with futures, options, derivatives, and the rest. Yeah, I know about futures and I know about options. I don't. Is derivatives the same as options though? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I mean, I'm not sure about you guys, but the whole fucking knowledge that I have with stock trading is from the film. What is it called again? The Big Short. Watch that film and it will explain a lot of stuff for you. But yeah. Brock Daniel, oh Python, yeah. Indeed, yeah. Laugh emoji on that, laugh emoji. I really do hope this Coca-Cola Zero is going to power us up through the night, because it might be a long stream today. But anyway, let's get started here. So open. The opening price is the price at which a stock first trades upon opening the market. All right, so is the price of the stock, it's the price that first trades when the market opens, right? So the very first trade for that stock happens with this open price. Cool. So high. The high price is the highest price at which stock traded during that trading session. During the trading session, this figure represents the peak price reached by the stock during the trading day. So during the trading day, like this is what I'm confused now, because here in Alpha Vantage, we've got a high for every single one of these. So I'm guessing is, you know, this high value just represents the highest value in this window here between like, I guess 740 to 745, right? I'm gonna take that as the assumption here. And then the low by default is the other way around, right? So the lowest price reached during the trading session. And then the close is the closing price is the last price at which stock trades during the trading session, right? Yeah, so you know, it's not too difficult to understand. And the volume is the total number of shares of the stock that were traded. So we had the right assumption for this one at least. So we got one of them right, one out of 4, right? So yeah, that's amazing. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have to have a structure that represents all these values, right? So we can kind of serialize things into it. So yeah, let's do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the only thing I don't like about this API is that we have, instead of just open and high and low, we have like 1 open, 2 high, you know, 3 low, but we can work with that. But anyway, so let's do something here. So we have the open, which is going to be something like a float 64, right? Let's use that. And we have the close. Actually, let's do the close at the end. So we have high. Why does it feel like deja vu? I don't understand why this feels like deja vu, to be honest. It feels like I've written this code in the past. So yeah, F64 in here as well. And then close, F64. Now the volume is always an integer. I guess the volume is always going to be an integer anyway, right? So we can just put something like I32. Wait, how much volume can you have? Like, what is the maximum number that the volume can be? I'm going to put I64 anyway. Let's not make any assumptions here. Oh, I was late to the start of the stream, watching rapidly to catch up, but I love the name Crustradian. And he must find the senses will write about you, Gigaman. Yeah, so Arconaf, I was actually explaining that name at the start of the stream, dude. By the way, welcome to the stream. But yeah, I was trying to think of something like what is funny, what has crustacean in the name, and also something that describes trading. And it just came to my head. It was like it was just a sign from God, to be honest. So I had to use it. But yeah, I hope none of you copy this now, though. It's from this point onwards is just copyrighted. That term is copyrighted by me. So if you use it, I will sue you. I will get my lawyers on you guys. So yeah, but obviously, as you can probably guess, this is going to be serialized and deserialized, right? So we straight away we have to basically include surd here. We have to include surd, and we have to say what names we're looking from the JSON file, right? So let's look at surd. So for those who don't know, surd is a very, very useful Rust library that lets you serialize and deserialize data, and that's why it's got the name surd, serializer, deserializer, or surd. I don't know how this is actually pronounced. This guy actually says surd or something. Actually, this is a very, very good video if you want to learn about surd. This is John Jensag, I think his name is, and he's just like a legend in the Rust community. So do watch his video if you're interested. But this is the library that we're going to be using, right? So let's go to crates.io and look for surd in there. So there's actually two of them. There's surd itself and surd JSON. So surd JSON is the kind of helper traits and functions that allow surd to be serialized into JSON. I think it's called surd JSON, right? And it gives you functions like to JSON or something like that, which we're definitely going to use, by the way. So yeah, I mean, let's add that first dependency here. So first thing we're going to do is cargo add surd. And the second thing we're going to do is do a cargo add. Oh, do we need any features, by the way? I am wondering now. I am wondering if we need any features. Because some of the Rust crates have like particular features that you have to enable with the macros on the TOML file. It has Rust, it has trade, and it has Dean. It's awesome. Yeah, it has Dean. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Dean is just the best name ever, isn't it? That's the question, Arcona. If you've got a child, what's a child's name? It better be Dean, man. It better be Dean. If it's not Dean, I'm disappointed. Dean rhymes with bean, and we all love beans. Especially the Brazilians, we love beans. We love our rice and beans. But yeah, so no, it doesn't. It seems like the default surd bindings are okay to use, right? So no, maybe we do want derive actually. Yeah, we want derive because we're going to be using the macros, the derive macros. So that's a good point. So in the cargo TOML, we're basically going to do something like. No, there was a version thing in here, and also features, I think it is, where we can specify those features, and then we're going to do derive, right? Yeah. Oh, that should have been on the other window. But anyway, so now if we do cargo update, we've updated things, which is good. And why is this coming back to this window? Stay on the other window, for God's sake. Yeah, see? Why is Windows so bad? So bad. Like, I'm putting the OBS on the other monitor, and when I tab into it, it just brings it back. It just like, I minimize it, and whenever I bring it back, it just goes to my main monitor, which is not what I want. It should be able to remember which monitor index it was on before. I feel like that's the thing in Linux, right? You know, for those who are using Linux, please let me know in the comments if that's actually the case. when you alt tab on a particular piece of software, does it go back to your main monitor or wherever you left it? That's my question. Let's add cargo, add surd JSON as well. Okay, and now we should be able to do something like a derive call here. Oh, sorry, derive. And we have this serialize and serialize. And you can see that automatically we picked up JSON there. Now, this is actually going to be an index update just for Alpha Vantage update, right? So that's what we're going to be calling here. So this is an index. Ooh. Oh my God. There you go. And insert, like, even though you're given these names here, so this should all be really public. We're gonna put this into a module in a bit, to be honest. It's just in the same like file as the main function, just so we can kind of see what we're doing here. So yeah, insert, you can actually override the names that you should expect from the serialization, right? So for example, if we were to search for that now, because I don't actually know the functionality off by heart. So surd macro override the key name. All right, that's what we want. Field attributes. So surd default path. So alias, deserialize this field from a given name or from Rust or from its Rust name. May be repeated to specify multiple possible names for the same field. Okay, so it seems like alias is the one we want, right? So Arkonav, my son's name can be translated to English as righteous. Oh, nice. And my daughter's name can be translated to one of a kind. Mate, that's very thoughtful. That's amazingly thoughtful, actually. So maybe we should make a third one. Let me ask my wife. Dude, yeah. You must be very rich, Arkonaf. You must be very rich, dude. You're thinking about your third one in 2024, dude. You must be balling, right? There you go. We spotted a trader. We spotted the real-time trader here, the high-frequency trader in the chat. That's Arkonaf right there. So yeah, alias is the one we kind of want. So let's look at doing that. So surd, I think it was just alias, right? Alias, and then we put the name that we want to kind of deserialize from, which is going to be whatever it was in here, right? So open. How bad? Can I ask you guys a question? How bad is the delay? Because I can kind of, to me, I just see the messages straight away. Obviously, when they arrive. But I guess you guys can see how long it actually takes for me to reply to them and to be able to see them on the stream. So if it's too bad, please let me know, because I can try and see if YouTube is going to improve it. But I can't. No guarantees, basically. We might just be stuck with 50-second delays. Yeah, so we're basically just putting these... Well, let's just copy and paste this all over, to be honest. Delay test. Nice, thank you, Anton. By the way, welcome to the stream, Anton. I think it's not the first time I'm seeing you, dude. But about 5 seconds. Thank you. The delay feels acceptable. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, Anton, I think I've seen you before, dude. So welcome to the stream once again. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy today's shenanigans. So we're going to be working with database. For those who just tuned in, we're going to be working with databases. We're going to be working with asynchronous in Rust, and we're going to be working, what else? With, yeah, just API calls, right? API requests. So we have 2 is high, 1 is open, 2 is high. The other one is low, and they should all match. And we have close here as well. I'm hoping that these names never change, right? I'm hoping that these names never change. Otherwise, we're screwed. We are definitely screwed if they do change. But we seem to be fine. And we have close, and the last one is the volume, right? So that's how we're going to deserialize it. And yeah. So we basically want to like transform this into JSON and iterate over the 5-minute time series here. That's what we're gonna do. Fun coincidence, my name translates to righteous also. Nice, 6-second delay. That's awesome. May you live as your name. Yeah, that's a nice message. Typical interview question. What if they come in a different order? What are the names change? And what if the data is malformed? So that's yeah. Thank you. See, thank you for the question. That's a good question. So actually, if you're using surd, you don't really have to worry at all, because surd is probably not going to parse it and it's going to return you a result, a fail result, right? But obviously, if you're parsing this by yourself, so if you're using like a JSON reader or something like that, you do have to make sure that the names are kind of expected, or if there's like if there's a difference in names and they're always kind of like well defined, you account for all the possibilities. So for example, I could, instead of just reading one open, I could just read open here instead of like the whole thing. I'm not sure if that's possible with surd as easily. I might have to be able to tap into the deserializer, because you can override the surd deserializer by default. But that's something that you kind of could do as well, right? So yeah, may I ask you guys to like the video if you haven't yet? So I would appreciate that quite a lot. So what if the data is malformed? You kind of, yeah, in this case, if you get something like this for an interview question where people are asking like, what would you do if your trading data is malformed? I would probably just say ignore the bits that are malformed, because you don't want to kind of account for data that's potentially not right? That's what I would say. I mean, you can ask some of the more seasoned developers in here as well. I think Arkonaf has actually probably been in the industry for longer than me. So like, what would you do, Arkonaf, if someone asked you that question? I would probably just say ignore it. That's the suggestion I can kind of give you guys. There are data types, JSON query parameters, but it requires you to have an API key. Yeah, so that's a good point. I do have an API key here, which is stored in here somewhere. I hope I don't leak it in this stream, because it's going to be quite interesting if I do leak. But if we look at the market API, let's see if we can kind of figure out. Anton plugin. There are data API. That's a good point. Like, can I actually request a particular data? So daily adjuster in a tray. So this API returns the current and 20 plus years of historical data time series of the equity specified, covering extended trading hours where applicable. You can query both raw as traded and split dividend adjusted in intraday date. I don't know what intraday stands for, by the way. So what do we have? We have symbol as the time series in intraday. Symbol is the name of the stock you want to query, and we have the required interval, time interval between two consecutive data points in the time series. The following values are supported. So you can do it by the minute to make things a little bit more. No, yeah, I don't know. I can do it by 5 minutes as well. It doesn't really make much of a difference to me. So ignore the data that's not expected. This way you are not prone to attacks. Yeah, so that was the right answer. I gave out the right answer. By the way, welcome Al. Good to see you on the stream, dude. You should ignore it, but also have some underlying system to notify you. Yeah. So always do some sort of login or put it somewhere to the user. Now, one of you, Anton, mentioned that you can request the particular date type. I'm looking at that right now because that would be interesting. If we can specify the keys and stuff, that would be amazing. So month, yeah, we know about these. These are just to get the particular data point. And optional output size. By default, output size compact strings. Compact and full are accepted with the following specification. Compact returns only the latest 100 data points in the intraday time series. Full returns trading 30 days of the most recent intraday data. This, I'm going to struggle to pronounce this today, guys. Intraday data if the month parameter, see above, is not specified. Or the full intraday data for a specified month in history if the month parameter is specified. So it's just it's either the last 30 days, or if you specify the month, it is kind of given to you. So time series daily. Required symbol, output size, data type. By default, data type equals JSON, strings JSON, and CSV are accepted. So we always want JSON by default, I guess, right? I'm just checking in to give a like and have time to leave. In-laws are visiting, therefore I cannot watch your stream. I cannot watch your stream today, man. Okay, that's fine, mate. Thank you very much for the like, dude, and I hope you have a nice time, man. Go and enjoy your in-laws. I mean, I'm assuming that you like them, right? Because most people don't, but I wish you have Cody, and so hopefully you'll be a millionaire soon and can share. Yeah. I was telling my girlfriend earlier, like, if I ever get any donations for the channel, specifically for this stream, I'll probably just put it into a pot, and whenever we have something working, we'll just like gamble it all, right? We'll just gamble it all. CSV format looks simpler. Yeah, let's take a look at the CSV format. That's a good point. That is a good point. So API, and then we have data type. What is it? Data type equals whatever. So what do we have here? Yeah, it does look simple, doesn't it? It does look a lot simpler. Now, what do I go for? I mean, since we're using Surd quite a lot, and we're going to be using Surd a lot anyway, not just for the serializing and deserializing of this. What is the Surd CSV stuff here? I mean, there are libraries to process CSV files. They're quite easy. I'm still inclined to do Surd, though, just because I know that I'm going to need Surd for all the potential API requests in the future. So, for example, if we're doing some sort of like a news analyzer where we're getting the sentiment of the news, so we want to get like news pieces in real time and analyze it, it's all going to be in JSON as well. So I'm kind of inclined to do this. 90% of gamblers quit before they make it big. Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those, hopefully. Jose Carlos, hey Matt, you're gonna do day trade with us? I wouldn't say day trade, but I'm doing a trading platform. That's what we're trying to do here. So that will be like a new project for the channel, and hopefully in the next few like month or so, we're gonna have something working. And I'm happy to like show you guys in real time what it does when you eventually can make some stock orders and stuff. So I'm sure we're gonna lose money. Don't worry about that. I'm sure we're gonna lose anyway, because yeah, there's nothing I can do with my limited knowledge that's gonna like overcome an actual trader's job, right? And yeah, we're probably gonna lose money, but it's a good learning anyways to see how you can work with trading software. Yeah, I'm gonna use JSON for now though. That was a good point by Anton. CSV does look simpler, but I'm inclined to just keep JSON just because I have Surge here, and it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to just use Surge to pass things around, because I already know how to use this library, to be honest, and it's very, very performant. But anyway, next thing we have to do is we have to kind of ask Cargo to add request. Right, we have request here. And request is a library that's going to allow us to do an API request, right? So for example, we can define a function here called, or in fact, let's define a trade that we can then implement to get the request, right? So we're going to call in the data feed. And this trade is, does it have a type on it? I don't think so. And this trade is simply going to have a function called, I don't know. Can we have pub here? No, I don't think we put pub in this case. So we're going to have to do an update, right? So update, and we're going to put something like an index name here, which is going to be a string, right? Or in fact, a string. And this is going to return us the result, a particular result. We don't have anyhow yet. So if you guys are new to Rust and you haven't yet heard of this library called Anyhow, do use Anyhow. Anyhow is a error handling library that allows you to kind of nicely cascade results up the stack. So for example, if you use Rust's own result type, you can't really cascade it when you're returning a result of one type into a function from a function that returns a different type of result. With Anyhow, you can cascade these result types because they all kind of, I don't know how it works, to be honest. I just know that it can convert between types explicitly. So it's very nice to use it for error handling. You can just kind of use the question mark operator to pass errors up the stack and have like one single point where you handle any type of error, and you kind of, yeah, you can just kind of do like a big match case in there. And it's very nice, to be honest. It's very, very nice. Anyway, the library is called Anyhow. Cargo add Anyhow. Do user. And with that in mind, we're going to use Anyhow result in here. And this is what we have there. So a data feed class is simply going to be a class that implements this trade, right? So we can, for example, now have something like a struct called messages. We can have a struct called what is it called? Alpha Vantage data feed, right? Or something like that. This will probably get more complicated as we go along, but for now, this is the function I see those needing for all the types of data feeds. And this is simply just I guess we do need an API key here, right? So we need an API key, which will be a string, and we're going to read this from, API string, API key to access the data. This is, I've already registered for one, and I've actually saved it into a file here. So I've got a file that I shouldn't ever touch, or I shouldn't ever show you guys. It's inside secrets. So I've got an Alpha Vantage API key, and we're going to read that in dynamically here, right? So we're going to pass in through the command line arguments, right? Which brings me to a point. We're going to do some command line parsing now. Very quick one. We just want to have like a data API key file passed into us, so like a path. A very good library in Rust, and for those who are starting again, it's called Clap. Clap is really, really good. I'm not sure if we need the derive thing. So Anton plugin, what is your current job position? So I am a software developer or software engineer in a defense company now, I guess. So we work in the defense industry. It's a startup in London. But yeah. What about you? What do you guys do? So I guess there's like maybe 10 of you watching now, something like that. Do you guys like work full time with software development. So yeah, I'd like to know actually. I know that some of you have been in the industry for a long time. So Arkonaf is a seasoned developer, as you say, and I'm glad that I have some of you guys watching me. But I guess most of the viewers I have on YouTube are actually people who are like either students or just getting into programming. So yeah, I'm a full stack JavaScript developer. Nice, Anton. So I'm going to be asking you a lot of API questions to you, dude, because I do zero REST API. Or not zero, mate. I still do REST API sometimes, but I'm not nowhere near as good as you probably with REST API, since that's probably your main job, right? Yeah, most of the, for my whole career, for most of my career, I've been working on systems development with C++ and Rust. So I forgot what I was doing, to be honest. Yeah, we're gonna add clap. So clap is a Rust crate that we use to pass or to parse. Why is clap not here? Yeah, to parse command line arguments, and it's very nicely wrapped for you. And all you have to do is basically to write a struct with all the program arguments that you want and their types, and clap does all the other work for you. Basically, you just say clap parse, and then we'll give you that struct filled up with things from the command line arguments from your program. Is Laravel a thing in your country? Laravel, the PHP framework. So yeah, I mean, it definitely is a thing in my country. A lot of people work in Laravel. Fun fact, I did actually start off with PHP back in the day. So when I was very young, I did start with PHP, and I used to know some of it. I wouldn't say I know any PHP anymore, though. I've not touched the PHP in a long time, in a long time. It always started with WordPress, man. As soon as I touched my hands on WordPress, I wanted to create like plugins and stuff for it. And that led me to the road of like doing very, very bad PHP. By the way, I don't claim it to be good. It was full of, the shit I wrote was definitely full of like bugs everywhere. And then that took me down to where I am now, which is basically just a full-time C++ systems engineer. So yeah, so we have macros here. We have modules, all items. Do we have features? Type aliases, collab. Yeah, derive. We need the derive feature as well. That's what I was wondering, because all of these libraries kind of, I can't go add clap. All of these libraries tend to have, separate features where you can kind of like, if you don't need the whole feature, it's not going to bring in extra code and extra bloat to your software. But for some of them, such as surd and clap, you do actually need extra features to be able to use some of the very cool functionality. And if you're looking at these two, for example, they've got this derive feature, which basically brings in a bunch of macros that you can like slap onto your structs, and it will like implement a bunch of stuff, a bunch of functions for them. So it's very useful to have him. Yeah, I'm gonna do another cargo update here just to make sure. And now we have it. And yeah, so like what I was trying to do is like, now we can have something like program args up here. And we can add a derive. Ooh, where is it? A derive parser, I think it's called. So clap parser. I think it's called a parser. Let me look at the documentation again, because I can't remember very well, to be honest. So arg, modules, traits. Where are all of them? All items. Parser. Traits, parser. There you go. I'm not sure if this is something I have to bring in as a feature as well. So clap derive parser. That's what I'm looking at. That is what I'm looking at. Yeah, so it's just parsable. Where does it come from? I have no idea. So if I just put it there, what will it say? Import cloud parser. Yeah. IntelliSense not working again. Ooh, what is the issue here? cannot find derive macro parser in this scope. Parser is imported here, but it's only a trade without a derive macro. Yeah, so it probably needs a feature. I don't know what the feature is called. I'm gonna guess it's called parser. So clap Rust features. Oh, I don't know what I'm typing into. Clap Rust features. So we have derive string enables a custom derive parser. Without this, you must use one of the other methods for creating a clap CLI instead. Yeah, so we do have that. I'm not sure why it's not building. But anyway, so I'm going to assume that this is IntelliSense not working now. And I'm going to say something like, let's see, we want the API key. So the alpha vantage key, right? Which is going to be a string. And yeah, that's all we need. I think I can put a name here actually, so I can have like clap in here. And we can have like long, I believe, and short. So this will cannot find attribute clap in this scope. Huh. What happens if I do a cargo build here? Is he actually not going to build? It's funny that I haven't actually built anything. Yeah. So I don't know why this isn't kind of being brought in, because it should really be. Yeah, so cannot derive parser in this. Let's just Google for it, because I don't really know what's going on here. In theory, that feature should be allowed. That should be already from primitive. That should already be in cargo. Clap. Yeah, so parser is imported here as a trade. Features derive. Did I not add that to the TOML file? Derive feature. That's right. Come on, guys. I thought you're looking out for my mistakes here. So I thought this is a coding, a pair programming session. Anyway, if we do a cargo update, it should be working now. Yeah, I should probably trust IntelliSense a little bit more. Just because, yeah, why not? But what does this allow me to do? So this allows me to do something like, you know, create a parser or program args here and call parser on it. And I do let my program args. And this will automatically generate all of the documentation needed on the help page and whatnot. So if I actually kind of just build this now, so if I do cargo build, cargo build, there you go. Can't spell today. We should have target, and inside the target we have the debug, and then if we do a crust trading, we can see that it generated all of the like help page for me automatically. And this is the power of clap for those who haven't tried Rust yet. It's really useful for that. So you can have very, very complicated things as well. So you can have like ranges of values, you can have values depending on other values. So if like one value is set but the other one is not, it will fail. You can have like better text descriptions and whatnot. But yeah, this is what we have here. And why did we add this? Well, we basically just added it because we need the API key here, and we kind of want to load it from the file, right? Because I don't want to like leak it on the stream. So if I do leak an API key on the stream, please let me know, because I'm like notorious for leaking things on stream, and I wouldn't be surprised if I do it again. But in theory, I shouldn't have to leak my my API key, because that's probably gonna cause a lot of people to try and use it and ban my account on Alpha Vantage, and I don't really want that, to be honest. But anyway, so we have that the program args. I don't know why I deleted it. We need to basically create a file here. So file is going to be something like stud. Is it file? It's not file. What is it from? IO? File. I can't remember which part of the standard Rust library opens a file. Oh, file open. std file system, of course. So std file system, file, and then we can have create new, open. There you go. And we can have the program args here. is it going to tell me what program args.alpha vantage key, right? So basically what we want to do is like we want to read the API key here and pass to the feed. So alpha vantage key file. What is this type? This is a result, right? So if we do something like, if we don't have a valid file, so if he wasn't able to actually open the file, we probably I'm gonna do a little trick here. So I'm gonna, instead of handle the error in there, I'm just gonna like do a try main function, and you'll see why I do this in a second. And this function is actually going to return a result, which is that anyhow result thing I talked about earlier, which lets me like cascade the error up. So I'll be able to do all of these things in here. Actually, this is program args. So all of the logic of my program is actually going to be in here, right? And if I do this, basically we can kind of just do this now. So instead of handling the error here, when you use the question mark operator in Rust, that essentially unwraps the value if it's a valid value and the program continues as it is, right? So you can kind of assume that file, if it reached this line here, you can assume that the file was a valid file and you were able to open it. Now, if it wasn't a valid file, this is actually going to like return from the function an error, right? So this is what it's going to do. So mismatch expected, found unit type. Yeah, so all I have to do in the end is, I guess, do this, something like that. And why did I do that? Well, because I can now kind of just call, I can match the try main here and have like one point in my program where I actually handle all of the errors and I actually kind of, put a log somewhere. We're gonna probably put a logging kind of library or crate in a second. I'm just gonna use print lines for now. I hope that's okay. But there are very good logging libraries in Rust, by the way. I think my favorite one is actually nvlogger. I think that's what it's called. Nvlogger seems to be a good one and very popular actually. But the only thing it doesn't do is like save to files. It just prints to the environment, which is not ideal most of the time. But anyway, we have try main and we're passing the program args here. And if we have something like, so what do we have here? So if it's okay, we don't want to do anything. So if it's an error, actually, right? If it's an error, we kind of just want to put eprint line here. And we're going to say error. Oh, could not run. Or failed to run. And then we can print out that error in here. So E. And we can abort the thing, so we can panic in here. Simple as that. Oh, actually, we can, instead of this, we can just call panic in here, right? So panic, and that will work. Anything else? We don't do anything. We just say, okay, succeeded. Now, yeah, so let's continue to work on this. So alpha vantage key file. So we can kind of read, I guess, or read to string. That's what we're gonna do. So buffer. Oh, this actually takes a string. So I'm gonna try and read all this stuff to a string. So let's see. Read to end. You have to pass into a string here, and that returns a result of usize. See, like this is what I was trying to talk about earlier. So this is where anyhow comes in very hot. So this function returns a result of type usize, which is inherently different from whatever this returns, which is a result of file and its IO result. But if you're using anyhow and you're returning the anyhow result from your function, you can just return whatever result you want from here, and that will kind of implicitly convert things for you automatically, which makes things a lot easier for you to cascade errors over the stack and have one single point where you actually handle your errors. So this is why you should always use anyhow when you can. It just makes error handling a lot easier in Rust. So But anyway, yeah, so we have to get let mute string here, so that'll be the API Vantage alpha Vantage API key, which is going to be a string, I believe, right? And we're going to pass that into here. So what does this take? This takes a mute self and takes a string. So alpha yeah, so in theory this should work, right? Ah, this is not mutable. So we probably should do this instead. Wait, this is actually the way you read strings from a file in Rust? It can't be, right? Rust read file to strings. fs read to string. So there is a function that does this automatically for us. So in fact, instead of actually opening the file, we could have just done stud fs read to string, and that returns a result of string. Yeah, that's much simpler indeed, isn't it? So program args dot alpha vantage key. All of this just to read a dummy key file. And yeah, we're going to put that into our alpha vantage API key. That's right. And yeah, I mean, we kind of have everything to create this alpha feed, right? So now we're going to actually implement this data feed. So we're going to do impl alpha feed, alpha vantage data feed. One of the ones I'm going to add just outside any trades is the new function. We just want to be able to create a new function, right? So this is the API key. It's going to be a string, and we're simply going to return self here, and it's just going to be a return of alpha data key. Yeah. An API key is going to be the API key. In fact, if I actually rename this to the proper thing consistently, we should just be able to do this in Rust. This should work as well. And we also have to implement the trade, I think it's called data feed, for alpha vantage data feed. And in here we can have that update, so pub update, and this should also be a public function because we're going to put this into its own module later on. So we can have the update, and then we have the index name here, which is a string, and this whole thing is going to return a result. Ooh, a result of whatever it is. So this is the bit where we're actually gonna call the API for Alpha Vantage, right? So this is where we call the REST API for an index and parse it, right? So I'm not really dead set on what type of data I'm going to be returning here. As far as I know, I'm just going to be returning a list of these things here, right? So in fact, what we want to do is we want to have one type here, which will be the price point, right? So a price point, shall we say. And that's going to have all these things. So pub open, I'm just going to copy and paste it here because I can't be bothered rewriting everything. I know you're probably wondering why I'm defining another class that is essentially the same as the Alpha Vantage index update. The point is, like, this index update here is simply for deserializing purposes. So we're going to be using serd to automatically do all the JSON deserializing for us, just by defining this class. And this is why serd is actually very, very helpful to us, because it just works like that. And this one is the one we're actually going to store into databases and stuff, right? So we're going to remove all the serd stuff. Oh. And yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of writing everything in the same file. Things will get more complicated. We'll start moving things into their own modules in a second. But for now, this is it. So yeah, I mean, I am going to say that this is actually going to return a result of vec of those price points, right? So the price point. And that's what data feed is. That's what it should be doing for us. Data feed. Oh, it's actually a vector of data feed. Ugh, a vector of price point. So why is it not expected bang? What? Expected bang. Oh yeah, I've just forgot to put the function here, right? So price point. Kind of find price point in this scope. Oh, because it's prive point here. Line 42. Thank you, man. Thank you, Argovoid. That's why you're here on the stream, man. Yeah, sometimes I get stuck for ages, and then someone just comes on the chat and says, "Yeah, you've got a typo there," and that's why I appreciate doing live coding. Again, I'm still waiting for the day that I'm gonna get sponsored by Coke Zero, because that's what the drinks. That's the drink every developer should be drinking, right? So it's got just the right amount of caffeine, none of the sugar, so you're still healthy. You're still getting those gains. You're still getting those gains. Yeah, so data feed is going to be that, and price point. So there's a mismatch. There's a mismatch here. So what is this? What is the mismatch? So we have it. Oh yeah, this. But we still have a mismatch. So this is a result of vector of price point. Yes, because we're not actually returning anything here, so we could just do okay vec new here. Just return an empty vector for now. We're going to implement this in a second. What does it say here? Unnecessary visibility qualifier. Visibility qualifiers are not permitted here. Trait items always share the visibility of their trait. Okay, yeah. So we should probably be putting it here. So we want it to be a public trait there and there. That makes more sense. You know, it brings me to the point. Like, this is why I love doing Rust. Just because the compiler is really nice and all the messages that we get are really nice as well. What? Visibility qualifiers are not permitted here. Trait items always share the visibility of their trait. So, pub trait? Is that going to work? So type price point is more private than the, yeah, so that is good. So we just need to kind of put a pub in here as well. That's better. And then here we're also going to go for that. API key. So field API key is never read. We're going to fix that in a second. We're just not reading into it now. So I'm still wondering, like, how many of you actually have done Rust before? Like, I've asked that question before and I'm sure I got 0 answers. So have you guys tried Rust before? And like, if you did, what do you think about it? It's like, what do you think about it compared to your main programming language? Do you like it? Did you find it easy to develop programs in it? Because I kind of do. After a while of working in Rust, I kind of find it easier to develop something in Rust than other languages, just because of the niceties of the compiler. So, just a bit, and it seems good. Yeah, nice, Brock, Daniel. So, if you are interested in Rust, dude, feel free to join. I'm sure that you are already on the Discord channel, right? So, if you've got any questions or anything that you want to know more about, post it in there, dude. I'm glad to help as well in the future. I love helping people with Rust because it's such a nice language to work with. Now I'm thinking here, so this is where we're going to make the REST API call, right? So this is where we're going to do something like a request, do request or whatever, builder, request builder. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do a request here. For that, I'm going to actually look real quick at the request documentation because I never remember it off the top of my head. So request has like a builder pattern, so you can build up your request. And in the very last line, you can say the builder dot request or whatever, which will make the request. So we want to make a get request with a few fields. There you go. So request.get. That will build a get request for you, and you just await on it, right? Fine, cool. I started to write a code for WebSocket servers, but quickly got stuck when I have to store async route handlers. Yeah, dude. So async is that's one of the things that are quite difficult in Rust. So async can be quite difficult just because we have like all of these different, like I guess new ideas in Rust, right? So Rust doesn't actually have an async backend. You have to choose one. Most popular one being Tokyo, which we're about to include right now because we have to include it because we're using await here, and there is no, as far as I know, there's still no standard async backend. So yeah, you have to like just understand how to store the join handlers for Tokyo and stuff. It can be quite difficult. But yeah, I mean, judging by your problem, man, you just need to kind of read more about Tokyo's join handles and how you can store them with like arcs and stuff. So there are async std for async main. Ah, okay, so it already exists. I thought it still doesn't exist because that's something they've been meaning to implement. Async std in Rust. Oh no, this is still async std is a foundation of portable Rust software. Yeah, but this is still not part of the standard library, is it? This is a crate. This is still not part of the language, so I still don't have it. I have to include it. Between async std and Tokyo, I kind of prefer Tokyo just because I know how to use it, to be honest. And yeah, Tokyo crate. I do need to have the full features, I think, so I'm going to just slap this into my cargo toml. Yeah, so my point there is that, yeah, async std does exist, but it's not part of the language yet. They want to do as far like what I heard in the Rust convention, which I've been to a couple of months ago, and here's my plushie to prove it to you guys. I'm not sure if you can see it. In fact, can you see the plushie? There you go, Rust Nation convention. I went down to London a few months ago. I met a bunch of Rust people in there. But the maintainers of Rust are trying to, or were trying to implement some sort of like async backend in the actual language, and nothing has been done about it. Yeah, so that's what I meant about the standard library async. I know about the async std though. I've heard about that one before. So we do a request here, request.get, and we want to do the URL. So now this is where we come in with the actual URL we were looking at before. So we want to kind of make a request to this, right, I guess. So let URL equals, I guess we have all of this here. And I'm kind of gonna replace a few of these things. So the only thing I'm gonna replace now is this IBM. I'm gonna put a little, what's the index name here? Whatever. And I'm actually gonna call replace on it. Is replace a thing? Yeah. So we have replacing the index with whatever we have here in the index. And that will be a string for us. Good, so that's already a string. And we can kind of just call this from with the URL. Okay, so this is a future. Now we have to await. What's that going to return? I'm pretty sure we have to return a result of response, okay. Into JSON or surge. Now this is where I would like to convert this to JSON. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, request actually has a feature called JSON, right? So if we look at all items, oh fuck. God, shouldn't have sworn. Are features here anywhere? So feature flags, there you go. If I'm not mistaken, there is a JSON. Yeah, JSON, there is a feature. So again, we're gonna have to go into the cargo toml file and then request. We're just gonna have to add the feature in there. So version, this, and then features, and JSON. And with that, we should now be able to do, we're indexing again things, so we should be able to go to call into JSON or whatever it is, or pass to JSON. There you go, JSON. So that, what will that return? That returns a result of unknown. Let's see what the usage is, shall we? Ah, okay, so it's a templated thing, and then you should be able to. Yeah, you need to be able to actually pass it into a struct here. And it uses surd internally. Nice, nice. So yeah, we have to compose this whole big thing here into a structure in Rust, right? So time series 5 minutes, that's what we're going to be looking at here. So we have some metadata information, and then we have time series in here. I wonder if surd kind of works if I just specify this alias and then the keys here. Oh. Yeah. So how would we actually deserialize this with JSON? I mean with surd. Because the keys are changing, right? So we have changing key names all the time. So we want to kind of iterate over these and then transform each one of these into an actual an actual time point. That's what we want to do. So how do I do that? So I'm trying to think of a way. So we can definitely convert each one of these into a structure, right? So it made me realize as well that we're kind of missing a very crucial point here, which is a timestamp, which should be an std time instant, I think. So yeah, we're going to be storing this value here as a timestamp. Let's see. Let's Google. All right. So surd deserialize changing name key names, right? How to use surd on a variable key name on top level. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Can you guys spot this? Someone has attempted to do the exact same thing we're doing now with surd. That's amazing. This is the exact, like, this is the data. They got the same exact data from the same API that we're using, and they're trying to do the same thing we're trying to use, or we're trying to do with surd, which is deserializing these things into an actual structure. But anyway, the trick here is to use flatten. So you get the metadata separately, and the rest goes in the hash map. Okay, so metadata is metadata. So time series we have. Okay, all right, I see. So time series, which is flatten hash map string to string playground. Let's take a look at what they do here. Yeah, I didn't know you can flatten. I mean, I didn't know you can use flatten to do this kind of stuff. Very, very useful actually. They've got metadata, which is basically this. I'm just gonna copy this as well. Like, I don't give a damn. Let's just copy this. So we have alpha vantage there, data field, and we have, this is alpha vantage metadata, I guess. And then we have this time series thing. I'm gonna copy. Alpha vantage, data field. I mean, can I actually put it next to whatever we were actually doing before, which is going to be up here somewhere, right? All the alpha vantage parsing stuff next to each other. Well, we have volume here. And then we have time series, which is the big deserialization thing. So what is this actually doing? So this is flattening the structure. We have time series. Like, how does it know? How does it just know how to find this? Like, it's not giving out the name at all. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So time series from data. Let's do this. So that's a very nice trick, though, I will say. That's a very, very nice trick indeed. Alpha vantage time series. So you have metadata, that will be alpha vantage metadata. And it does come into that name, right? So we do have the right name. Yeah, metadata. That's cool. And then time series, we have rename. What do we have? We have time series 5min or something, right? Yeah, cool. We need to include hash map somewhere. So import collection hash map, why not? So what do we actually have here? What? So this is actually a hash map that takes from a string to a hash map of alpha vantage time series. Wait, what? Time series item. Time series item. What? I'm kind of confused now. What do they have as time series item? Oh yeah, that was the price index that we have. Okay. This is the index update. Yeah, so this is actually taking alpha vantage index update doesn't implement the debug. Like, does it have to implement debug? That's interesting. That's not a problem though, we can do that. Yeah, but anyway, so now we should be able to do something like, what was it? Alpha vantage time series, right? That's what it was called. So comparison operators cannot be chained. Use this. Oh yeah, this is not C++, and this is how we do things in Rust now. What is the issue here though? So await is only allowed inside async functions. Yeah, we can async. We can declare this async here and in the trait as well, I guess. Wherever that is, right? So async. Now these values are never read. We can make a pub for now. Just before I forget to make them pub, because we're definitely going to be using them outside the classes themselves, right? An unused variable request. Right, so at this point, we do know for sure if it reaches this line and everything goes fine, we should have an alpha vantage time series, which means that we can kind of iterate over the time series, right? So we can do something like request, or not request, what is it called? This is a response, right? So time series response, what do we have? Response dot time series, and then we can iterate over each of the values in here. So this is how we kind of do this. So for, I guess, whatever this is, in time series dot values. Now this is a hash map. Yeah, this is a hash map of string to alpha vantage indexes. I'm still a bit confused as to how it's going to flatten this, because if you look at the actual data, right, I would assume that the first index would be something like, you know, the data point itself here. But then we have another string on the value as well. Like it's a hash map to a hash map, which is interesting. So like, what is the first hash map representing? Like, what's the actual key on the first hash map representing? And what is the second key in the other hash map representing? And I guess we're probably going to find that out real soon now, but when we run this on debug mode. But yeah, I mean, so what do we get here? We can probably just put a, oh, this is not how you do it. I'm going to debug this to see what's coming back here, because I'm not entirely sure now. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, the point is, like, this for loop, this is where we convert all the retrieved values into a vector of price point, right? So it's a very simple conversion here. We're just taking it from the the Vantage data feed to the price point data feed. So it should be very, very easy in this case. Yeah, so let's do that. So let's actually create a alpha data feed here, shall we call? So alpha Vantage data feed. And this is going to be an alpha feed, data feed, new, and then we have the API key. And what's that returning to us? And then we can do like just an update, just one update to see what happens, right? So we do alpha key data feed, alpha Vantage data feed dot update. Why can I not update this? Why can I not update? Huh? So I've implemented this, which should be public, right? This data feed thing is definitely public. So why is it not appearing? Yeah, missing pub. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, Anton. So on the trade, I definitely have a pub there. Do I need to declare it as pub implemented? Is that a thing? No, it's not a thing, right? Yeah, am I missing the actual pub on the class itself though? That's a good question. Maybe I was. Let's see this. Yeah, no, still not showing up here. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm very tempted to copy this code into GPT and let it realize what I've done wrong. Very tempted indeed. Alpha feed, data feed, yeah. I'm just going to try and do it anyway, because this is, the compiler is going to tell me what's wrong. Certainly. Right, so no method named update found in struct alpha Vantage data feed in the current scope. Found the following associated functions. To be used as method, functions have a self param. Ah, yeah, that's why. That is why. It's because I forgot the self. So again, we can all add a heart emoji to the chat, just for the Rust compiler, because it's very good at telling us what to do. And it has told me that I have forgotten. Where is it? I have forgotten to put the self here. So there you go. And this has to actually take in a self as well. And now we should finally be able to call update, which we do. Right? The question mark operator can only be used in values that implement try. What? What do you mean? Like, yes, this is a, yeah. Now this is all good and well, but like, I don't think it's actually going to compile, right? Because final pig type is import future, so we need to actually do an await here. And that's fine. So await is only allowed inside an async function. And this is where we actually have to add Tokyo so we can turn our main function into an async main, right? So let's do that. I'm not sure if I actually have already done this. No, I need to actually add Tokyo to our Tomo file. And let's look for Tomo somewhere. Sorry. What is it called? Tokyo. Right? Why is crates.io not loading for me? License, chat, API docs. There you go. Tokyo feature flags, and we want the full feature. Yeah. How do I actually specify the feature in the cargo add though? There you go, features. So cargo add Tokyo features full. So it should automatically put Tokyo in here with full. Good, amazing. Yeah, so now we essentially have Tokyo enabled for us. This will have increased our compile time massively just because Tokyo is there now. And unfortunately, it's just the way things work in Rust. I mean, some libraries are very... I think Tokyo main is the one, right? So Tokyo... I don't find attribute Tokyo. Tokyo main, that's the one. So async function main. And now we should be able to compile this. Ooh. Do a cargo build. And I'm actually going to start a debug file just so we can debug and see if things are actually working fine. It's going to be allow-db though, and cargo terminal has been detected in its workplace. Would you like to generate launch configuration for its target? Yeah, why not? Why not? So it generates automatically the Crustadian debug target for us. So arguments are there. So the actual program arguments, that's what we have to pass. And yeah, so I think I called, what was it called again? I can't remember now. Alpha Vantage key. Alpha Vantage key, and that's going to be equals to wherever it is. Crustadian. I really hope you guys are appreciating this name because I thought about this very, very hard. Secrets, and then we have Alpha Vantage key or something, whatever it was. Alpha Vantage, yeah. And that has my key file on it, and hopefully I'm not going to leak this to you guys. Hello Zim, how is it going, dude? Playing CS 1.6. Playing CS 1.6, dude. 1.6 is old as shit, man. And I'll tell you what, I still play that sometimes as well. I play it on a Portuguese. There's a Crustadian. Arconaf is still here, dude. There's a typo. Crustadian. Oh yeah, I see, dude. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Going back to CS 1.6. So I still play that game. I still have it on my Steam, and I have a very, very fun time playing with the Portuguese people. They're a very fun bunch to play with. So if you ever fancy playing CS 1.6, dude, just hit me up on Discord. That's usually my go-to game when I'm trying to take a little break. So yeah. Why did it create two debug executables here? So there's a launch here. Launch. What is the difference between these two? Auto-generated settings. Ah, okay. One is a test. One is a test. I see. Debug unit tests. CS2 doesn't work for me. Dude, you must have a very old computer. I mean, I've got a very old computer as well, man. I've got a 4-year-old computer now. It's actually a laptop that has an integrated graphics card in there. It's an RTX 2070 or 3070 or whatever it is. No, it's 2070. And it still runs CS 1.2. Sorry, still runs CS2, dude. So you need to upgrade, man. You need to like grind harder, get a pay rise, so you can buy that new shiny 4090, right? That's the dream. That's the dream. So async function. You can alternatively. What is this word? What does this word mean? This desugar the normal function that returns import future, and add any desired bounds such as send, but these cannot be relaxed without breaking API change. Okay, yeah, I guess we can do that. So import stud future plus send. Okay, so the output in this case would be. Wait, what? I'm gonna leave it as is now. This is too much for me to think about. 4090 or the third child. Yeah. 4090, of course, right? I mean, no doubt 4090. That's gonna give you more joy than a third child, dude. Trust me. The child has bigger ROI over 20 years. What do you mean the child has big ROI? All you gotta do is like spend money on it for the first 20 years of your life, and then you'll never get any money back, dude, until like you're very old and they're able to take care of you. But that is a 60-year investment right there. Not 60, but that's like literally a 40-year investment there, dude. At what point you're probably getting what? Like £500 from them every month? Is it really worth it? Now with a 4090, however, you can run a lot of IntelliSense, I'll tell you that. You can run all the IntelliSenses all at once. I'm joking. Yeah, you can do a lot of gaming with that, dude. You can do a lot of gaming, a lot of Bitcoin mining if you're into that as well. You probably, that's more of an investment than the child is. So yeah. What was I doing here? I forgot. Yeah, we're just gonna debug this shit now, right? So let's do it. So if I put a breakpoint right here. Okay, so things are compiling, things are not compiling. No, things are compiling. What's going on? Oh yeah, it reminds me that I just absolutely hate debugging Tokyo because breakpoints just go everywhere. Like it just creates like 17 threads out of nowhere at the start, and then like if you put a breakpoint somewhere, it might be like that breakpoint might change threads or whatever, and then it will just take you all over the place, and it's just a nightmare to debug Tokyo. So don't use Tokyo. Don't use Tokyo if you can avoid it. That's what I'm saying. The first 2 years of a child provides amazing services you can't find anywhere else. I mean, you can just smell a random baby. It has to be your baby. Yeah, it has to be your baby, dude. I mean, if I smell some random person's baby, I'll probably be arrested, to be honest, right? But 2 to 20 years are terrible. Yeah, 2 to 20 years are terrible. I mean, in the UK, that would be I guess that would be 2 to 18 years, because once they're 18, you just hope that they go to university and they just leave you the hell alone for like 4 years, and then they come back to you asking for shelter and a home. But yeah, PG, please. Yeah, sorry if I said anything that wasn't PG, but I'm trying to contain myself here. I'm trying really hard not to get cancelled or say anything stupid on YouTube that will just demonetize me straight away. It's harder than you think, guys. It's harder than you think. I'll tell you that. It's much harder than you think. Right, yeah. Let's try and debug this stuff again. So instead of running this, we're gonna put this here. Why do we have like so many different threads? So thread main panicked, run error decoding response body. Yeah, so we just returned an error, and that's fine. So we're not quite. Yeah, I think this is a little bit wrong, to be honest. I think this should have just been a hash map, right? This is what it should have been, if I'm honest. Yeah, this is what it should have been. Let's try and recompile this and see. So I think that code example was actually wrong. To me, it makes sense that it would be this, because when you tell CERD to flatten a structure, like if you have a hash map, it will flat that hash map to JSON. So like all your keys will be new entries, and then all your values will be like whatever comes after the colon for that particular entry. So deserializing is the other way around. So like if I've got a time series here, like that's already, I guess that's already, I don't know what I'm trying to say. My head is gone now. But anyway, we're running this. Oh no. Yeah, so we still panic here. We still panic for sure. Huh. Your API key is visible in the debugger. Thank you. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel this API key in the future. But thanks for reminding me. I just hope that none of you actually try to access it now, though. I think I have something like 25 API calls per minute or something. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel that API key. I knew I was gonna leak something today. I just knew it. I'm not too worried though, because this is a free account, so there's nothing you guys can do that would be annoying. Would be annoying to me, except just using up all of my allowance in a day, which is not too bad because I'm not actually paying anything. But yeah, why is this failing? Why is this failing? So let's see this. So deserialize. What are these actually using? So they've got time series here. Ah, I see what's going on now there. They have a nested map in here, because what they're doing is like they're deserializing this first bit into a variable called metadata. And then anything remaining after that, they're flattening the whole thing, right? And the way you can flatten things with we can flatten a structure like this in Rust is by just having a map, right? Going from string to a hash map. So the key would actually, the first key you get here would be the time series, and then the value for that would be a map itself, where each key is the time point here, right? So that's what it is here. So I understand what they're doing here. We have things slightly different because we already know what the time series are. So what I'm gonna suggest here is that we kind of do like another struct here, which will derive debug, deserialize, and serialize. I mean, we don't really care about the serializing of it, yeah. And this will be the time series 5min, right? Let's just call it here for now, just to make things a little bit better. And in here, we can do that third flatten, which would be our little, I don't know what it's called now. So the time series, I guess, which is a hash map, which takes us from a string to a, what's it called? Alpha Vantage index update, right? And that should work, hopefully. I left one too many spaces here. And yeah, in here I can do the time series 5min. And then in this method, like, we can actually support the other ones as well, because like we do have a 1 minute and whatnot. You know what I mean? I mean, they're all the same really. So this is just the time series, I guess. But we don't flatten it just yet here. So in here, we just do that. And then to support the other ones, because I think it has 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes and 10 minutes, right? If I'm not mistaken, we can check out on the API actually what it supports. So 5min. There you go, 1 minute. So we can support all of these time intervals. So I'm just gonna put like 1 to 15 now and whatnot. So we have 1, and then I'm guessing we have time series 1min, time series 2 minutes, and then time series 5 minutes. Is it 2? No, 5 minutes and 15. And obviously all we're going to change here is this very big thing here. This very easy thing, 15 there. And that should support all of them, hopefully. What's the issue here though? Field time series 5 minutes already defined. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Is it? Yeah, no, it was, yeah. It was there. Yeah. And then each of these will in turn be flattened to this structure here, right? So let's see if we get that now. Time series, so response.time series 5min. Then what do we actually have inside there? dot values, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Now, if we run this, I guess we're gonna have some sort of like success now, hopefully. Right? No, it fails again. Ah. So run error decoding JSON. Out of interest, like what is the actual response that we're getting? I love how when changing a 5 to 15, you first delete the 5 and then type 15 instead of cursoring ahead of 5 and pressing 1. The value you copy to the variable in your mind is 15. Yeah. To be honest, is the same number of keystrokes, right? Whether you delete the 5 and then type 15, or whether you go back, you press insert, and then press a 1. So it's 3 strokes anyway, 3 keystrokes. It's just, yeah, I'm a little bit dyslexic, is that the word? I don't know. I never got tested for it though. I'm pretty sure I am. So I just work in different ways, dude. My mind just works in different ways. But yeah, that didn't work. So let's see why it didn't work. Why did it not work? Ah, yeah, it didn't work because I don't actually have this type. We have, what is it? Time series. That's what we have. And again, it should just really be an alpha vantage. Alpha vantage response is this whole thing. And this is alpha vantage time series, right? And again, we have the same thing, alpha vantage time series here. And then we have alpha vantage, alpha vantage time series. Okay, now let's try again. It's gonna work eventually. I promise you guys, it's gonna work here. It's gonna work here. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. What is going on here? Time series 5 minutes. Oh yeah, we don't have that. What do we have in here? Wait, what? 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 Third flatten? Well, what the hell? Let me think about this. Why do I end up with these variables removed? Is it because this is flattened? That's interesting, isn't it? I guess I just don't know how third is working in this case. Let's say I just had one of them. Just one of them. One little one. Just that one. Would it work in this case? And then if it does, I can make it work for the other ones later on. Okay. So I have the feeling that I didn't actually build. And time series.values. Yeah. Okay. That kind of works a little bit better. Let's see. I don't assume this is going to work though. I think we probably ended up with the same stuff as before. Yeah. This is so annoying to debug, guys. So annoying. I just don't know what we're doing here now. Because essentially I want to have this value as this type, but then I also want the time series here to be just a map of values in it. So what's on line 136? 136. This one? This is just the error catching. This is just where it prints the error. That's why you can see it here though. Fred panicked at this. Is because whenever an error occurs in the program, we just boil down to this code here. So it's where I was explaining the error, the anyhow error handling technique at the start of the stream. If you're interested, just go back to that later on, and I explain how it works a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, we are. Let's take a step back and figure out here. So time series 5 minutes is. I want this to be an actual variable in there. But I also want time series inside this not to be flattened. I guess, can I just do this? Can I simply just do that? Is this gonna work? So what do we have here? Time series, and then yeah, this is the thing. I don't know the keys here. I don't know the keys at all. Yeah, I guess each, like I read this and I say that this is simply, what is it? This is an object, so it's a hash map of a hash map, all right? Yeah, so this should just really be a hash map of a hash map, right? I'm just overcomplicating things so much here. So this should just be a surd of rename or flatten. And then we have those time series here. So it's a hash map. Yes, we can do a rename in this case. I think this has to be the name that we expect it to be. So time series 5min. Which accounts for this hash. So essentially we're gonna get this one here. And this itself is a hash map of a hash map, right? So it's a hash map where we have a string as the key and a hash map of strings to strings as the value. Yeah, that makes more sense. I guess YouTube doesn't like some words and cancels the whole messages. Oh yeah, I mean, if you're trying to send me anything like that YouTube is canceling, just send it on Discord, dude. I've got my phone here so I can check it. But yeah, you guys might get some ads in a bit, and I'm sorry about that, but YouTube is the one doing it. Please don't skip it though, because it is helping me out quite a lot. Just saying. Also, make sure that if you guys are watching this, like the video right now. Thank you. Yeah, so let's try and sort this out. So this will get me a hash map. So this is a rename time series 5 or time series 5min. And this is going to be a hash map from a string. This is where we get here. So we've got a hash map string to a hash map of strings to string. And is this just what we what we had at the start? Because I kind of feel like it is, to be honest. What is the issue here? Mismatch. Expected struct. Hash map found struct. What? That means we can also just comment this out for a second. And then we can pub this out. Comment that out for a second again. Now this in theory should work, right? I don't know how long you're going to be on this for. So we have some issues here. What is it? Alpha Vantage time series. So we have Alpha Vant. Oh, maybe it also wasn't working before because I hadn't changed the freaking type in here. So obviously it wasn't working, and yeah, interesting. Time series 5 minutes values. Let's build it again and see. We need to start looking at these warnings as well. I don't kind of like them. Please work. No, it doesn't work. It did not work. Yeah, it didn't work. Why did it not work? I mean, taking a step back. I don't know how many steps back do you guys take? Because I've just taken about 20 steps back and nothing came to my head still. But anyway, so this field here, there's a field called this. We don't wanna do this. We don't want to flatten it. but there's a field called time series, right? If we look at this JSON. So that field itself is a hash map to a hash map. I think the only thing I messed up was maybe the flatten here unnecessarily. But yeah, I think that was the one. So does it build? It does build. Yeah, I need to figure out this very important message here. I guess we can do that now, right? This is just another way of writing that a function is async in Rust. Just make sure that it's send. And there you go. If you take enough steps back, you end up at your target. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, how many steps back does it take to go around the world? That is the question, man. At least 10, right? I would say at least 10. Just turn around before start taking a step back. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. I like that. It worked now. There you go. So the flatten was the issue. Yeah, we've taken enough step backs now. So enough steps back, and we have reached the destination now. You can hear that TomTom message. I'm not sure if you guys are old enough to remember TomTom when it says you have reached your destination. I was a top tier GPS. To be honest, I was a top tier GPS before Google was a thing. Yeah, so now we obviously going to print everything. There you go. So you can see all these values coming in. Beautiful, 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 right? So we're nearly at the end of it. So all we have to do now is like hook this into a database, and that's what we're going to do basically. We're going to do some migrations. TomToms, yeah, Arconaf, you know it, dude. You know it. I can always like trust on you to actually pick up the references here. I've got your message as well, dude. So let me read your message. So a piece of code never works when you show it to other people. This is called the Heisenberg's code. It's both alive and dead unless someone else observes it, in which case it always returns dead. Yeah, that is true. Why did YouTube like why did they censor that? I don't understand. Like the YouTube algorithm is just it's too much, man. They thought that is a very cryptic message. It probably thinks you're trying to overthrow the government or something, dude. But yeah, I have no idea why I censored that message. Weird one. Yeah, for those who are interested as well, like if you guys want to join the Discord chat, the Discord channel, I'm always online in there. I check it at least once a day when I'm free. So that's where you can kind of like talk to me directly. You can ask me questions. You can ask other people in the channel questions as well. They know quite a lot more than me, to be honest. So yeah, make sure you join it. It's probably the word unalive. Yeah, unalive. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, probably hate speech, isn't it? That's what YouTube thinks it is. But yeah, I mean, essentially we just have to kind of convert things around now. So I am not sure if we actually managed, like, can we, for example, instead of string to string, can we have an F64? And will it work if we do that? F64, F65, F64 here, because all of these values are kind of no, these are not always yeah, we're just gonna have to put strings here to make things easier, and then I can handle the surd rework later on, because you know surd actually does let you tap into the deserializer, so you can actually check for like key names and then convert the values of those names to actual like the actual types that you expect. For example, you can have like some sort of visitor stuff in there. So yeah, but for now we're just going to do this manually in here, man. So we do know that at this point here, this string is going to be the whatever. Yeah, this string is going to be the timestamp, right? And then this string is going to be, wait, let me think. Hash map strings to string. Yeah, no, sorry. We don't even iterate over the values. We iterate over this. So what we actually have here is the timestamp string. So timestamp string, and then we also have the index values here, and this is what it is. So, and I've misspelled timestamp, and this is where we're going to look at how to parse timestamps in Rust, right? Because that's the next task. Parse timestamp Rust, and I believe we're going to have to do some sort of common now year. Wait. Parse timestamp strings. Timestamp strings in Rust. STRF. So Chrono will do it for us. So let's see here. Parse string into datetime struct. Parses a datetime struct for strings representing the well-known format RFC or whatever. Yeah. So the first thing I got wrong is actually representing my timestamps as instance, right? So they should have really be datetime, I guess. And we can kind of get and oh, wait, what? Do we not have datetimes in this? Wait, what? Is Chrono not part of the standard? I thought Chrono was part of the standard. What's lang, whatever. So Chrono datetime. Yeah. Interesting. No. Yeah, Chrono is not part of the standard. So we're going to have to add it with cargo. Cargo add Chrono. And I guess now we can have that datetime in here, right? So import it from Chrono. There you go. So import Chrono datetime. There you go. Yeah, I'm actually like, I'm not entirely sure whether I like using the full-on namespace and then the data type format in Rust, or if I like to use it at the top. I kind of just prefer using like this, to be honest. Chrono datetime, you know, it just makes it very clear what you're actually using here. So missing one generic argument from datetime. Ooh, what is the generic argument from datetime? How do I use it? So datetime, parse from, right, how do we save datetimes? So what's the actual documentation for this? Let's look at how to use it, because I have no idea. So Rust, Chrono, datetime. Naive datetime template, parse from string. Yeah, thank you, Anton. I just want to know which kind of the time zone. Oh, it takes the time zone. Yeah, that's a good question. What is the time zone? Ah, this ties in nicely to this. This is US Eastern, right? So naive datetime. I guess naive datetime doesn't have a time zone. It's time zone offset. What do we have here? Chrono offset. Okay. Can we say something like US whatever? What is it? US East. That would be the daytime, I guess, right? Or Eastern. So how do we get the actual date? Offset from local datetime. From offset. Reconstruct the time zone from the offset. Does it say what the GMT is here? So GMT, no, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck now. So how do we do this? So we obviously have the date here, and we have time zone US Eastern. The time zone. How do we represent that in Rust? So Chrono time zone, there's a library for it. Chrono TZ is a library that provides implementers of the time zone trait for Chrono. The impulse are generated by a build script using the IANA database and zone info. So can we do some? Yeah, I guess we can use this, right? That would be cool. So we have Pacific, Johannesburg. Okay, so UTC there. I still haven't seen anything with this particular naming convention, so, and it's obviously it's very important that we get the actual time right. Well, otherwise we might be like storing into the database the price for a particular stock that we got now, but we're going to be storing it into, I don't know, GMT plus 2 or whatever, when it should be GMT plus 1. So we're like 1 hour, we could be like potentially 1 hour ahead. Hello, Aniru Goyal. Thank you for joining the stream, dude. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the chat and the coding. So yeah, I mean, should we add this? I think we should, right? So cargo, add chrono TZ. And hopefully this is going to play in quite nicely with the time zone stuff, yeah. So is that a trade? So anything that implements a time zone, right? I mean, we're kind of trusting this library. Obviously, we're trusting that this library is implemented correctly and the time zones are correct, but I don't know. So we have chrono time zone. So we have Africa, Brazil. So US is going to be here, right? So America. Why not call it US? Why call it America? America is the whole continent, dude. Oh yeah, I guess there are many Americas always referred to. Argentina. Wait, what? America, Argentina, Kentucky. What? How do these time zones actually work? I'm so confused. I am so confused. Europe, etc. I think there was US at the time, the bottom. Oh yeah, there is US. Thank you, dude. So what is here in the US? PubMod US. So we've got last East Indiana. Now, I guess the question is, how does this US Eastern translate to one of those timelines, one of those time zones, right? So we have, in fact, US Eastern. What is that? So US Eastern time zone. What actually is that? So it's UTC minus 4 at the moment, right? So all of these are probably UTC plus X. Yeah, I understand that. It's UTC plus or minus something, but like, so the one I'm looking for is minus 4, which would be Eastern. Oh, there you go. Eastern. There is one. US Eastern. Wait, what? How do I actually build this? How do I kind of use this? So pubconst Indiana. So Eastern. I'm just going to put Eastern here and see what they compile. Your application running on the spot. So why is this not compiling? Expected a type found constant time Eastern. Is it because I have to put a new here? What is available to me? Well, it's probably helpful if we actually look at the documentation, though you guys think. So if you actually look at the documentation and stop speculating, that would be amazing. So let's look at this. So how do you actually create the type? Yeah, how do you actually create the type? So implements the type. So I need water. I've run out of Coke Zero. I'm running out of brain power. Running out of brain power. So create a time in one time zone, convert it to UTC. So Pacific time. So they import US Pacific here, which is a constant. But this is expecting a trait, right? This is expecting a trait. So Eastern is there, and that's equals to this one, Eastern. So instead of passing a trait, will there be a TZ? Huh. Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete. Yeah, you're never let down by the documentation. I mean, I would love to say that as well, but I'm always let down by the documentation. Yeah, the thing is, I mean, these values are constants, which means they are kind of instantiated types, right? But this is expecting a type here for the time zone. So I guess a better question would be like, how do you store time zones? So Rust, how to store date time. That's it. So I just want to know what type I should put in there. That's all. So the offset, what is the offset? Of DT naive UTC. You can guide how to learn CPP efficiently. Can you guide how to learn CPP efficiently? Yeah, dude, just watch all the videos on my channel. Stay in touch with me on the Discord. Make sure you like the videos and I'll be posting more content, and then eventually you'll learn C++. But no, for seriously, you just need to practice, man. Just give out the practice. I'm not gonna go into how much practicing actually helps you in the long run, because I've spoken about that in previous streams way too many times. So I'm just gonna say just practice all the time consistently, and you'll learn it eventually. My channel will help you though, saying that, however. So make sure you give it a subscribe, like the video, you know, the usual. And let's stay in touch. That's what I can say. So yeah, I just don't know what type to put here. That's all. Like, what do I actually put there? And also, like, what the hell? How many of these things do we have here? How many tabs? So how to store datetime type Rust. They've got date type of UTC. So actually that time zone is UTC there. What if I do datetime of chrono TZ, and then I do time zone? Does that work? Yeah, it does work. There you go. Beautiful. We're getting there. Try chrono TZ. Yeah, I mean, you got there like literally 5 seconds too late, Anton, but thank you though. It was, I think we're on the same page. So yeah, so now we should have everything we need here, right? So we can convert everything that we have in here. So the timestamp string is going to have to be parsed, and we can parse that using God knows what. I don't even know which function. That's another part of the documentation I haven't really looked at, but we did leave it open here somewhere. So I mean, this is parsing it from a particular standard. I don't think we have a standard in here though, do we? So it's year, month, day, and hour. So year, month, day, and hour. Parse from string. Let's just try parse from string, right? So naive date or whatever. From string. I mean, I'm not really setting the time zone here though. So yeah. That is the function we're going to use. So import chrono. And what is that going to return me? So this function takes 2 arguments, but 1 supplied. So I guess we have to pass in the time zone FMT format. Yeah, so format. So we have year, day. That's year. That's fairly easy though. So basically, we just have to look at this and figure out. This is the string that we have, just for reference. this is the string that we have, so we're going to pass this. So this is the time, and the format is going to be yeah, we have year, and then we have month, right? Month is capital M, I believe, or is it? It's got to be capital M. The little m is minutes, right? And then we've got the day, like this, and then we have the time. So we have hour. In fact, it might be 4 Ys. I don't really know how this is kind of naive datetime. Let's see. From string, parse from string. C format, time module, okay. So year is this, and we have hour somewhere, which is capital H, right? Yeah, hour. There are subtle differences between the capitals and the non-capitals sometimes, though. We have minutes as well. I think that's going to be, oh, big M. So what is month? Oh, there you go. I got it the wrong way around. So it should be month and then day, right? So day is just D. In this case, yeah. And just to make sure, year is big, capital. And little year is the 2. Yeah, so there are differences. And then we have the hour. And then we have the minutes. Actually, the minutes here. Just making sure the hour is 24 hours, right? So hour in 24-hour format. Capital H, that's the one. And then we have the seconds, I believe. Hours, minutes, seconds, yeah. Capital S. Now, one thing I don't have here is a way to say what the time zone is, because currently we said what the time zone was, but we haven't really said which time zone we have here. So that is definitely interesting. So we have a result there. I guess this is something that we want to kind of ignore, right? So ignore the data if we fail to parse the timestamp. Because for now, we're just going to kind of crash the program, and that's fine. I'll have that for now. Yeah, can I do timestamp? What can I do? So there you go. So we do have parse from string here. But does this one give us a way to actually say what the time zone is, though? Note that this method requires a time zone as the input string. So we should have something like that, right? So we do require the time zone there. Yeah, so I just don't understand why it asks for the time zone on the type as well if it's always gonna infer it from the string. But anyway, so time zone. Let's see what time zone gets mentioned. Parse and remainder. Because essentially I want a way to also pass the time zone. Yeah, sorry if it's too boring, guys, but yeah, let me know if you're getting too bored of time zones. We will move to something else in a bit. I mean, maybe the answer lies on the chrono TZ library, right? So maybe we can just create it with this one. So can we do, no, this is a teaching experience. Yeah, this is a teaching experience for the young ones. Arconaf, you know how hard it is to work with time zones, right? And this is something easy. I'm just using libraries that are already out there. Imagine if we had to parse them ourselves. That would be a lot harder, wouldn't it? So the young ones have to learn this, you know. Actually, I've got a good meme now. Let's create a meme. So we have Star Wars. Which one is the best meme? I was thinking of the one with the children where he just kills all of it. Oh, I can't say that because I'm gonna get the where he just like hurts all the children, shall we say? I remember the early days of Windows programming where localization was suddenly a thing, and there were no libraries for. Oh, yeah. So, Master Anakin. There you go, meme generator. This is the one I'm thinking of. But how can I turn this into a time zone meme? I don't know. Nah, maybe this is too involved. I'll think about it later. I had something in my mind, but it's not going to work. I'll save it for the Discord. There will be a time zone meme eventually. Yeah, so anyway, so I was saying we can use that chrono TZ library, and we have US, and then we have Eastern. Dot, what do we have? Format, FMT type ID. From string, no. What are they actually using in the documentation? YMD, year, month, day, and HMS. Yeah, we don't have this. Urgh. Parsing from string. Is there a way to parse from string with these? Oh, there you go. To string. So there is no from string though. Huh. There is no from string. This library would have been beautiful, beautiful if it had a from string method. Because like it does have what we want the other way around. So like we can do a colcata and then pass in the day, month, year, and the hour, and then put it to a string. But we can't do the other way around, which kind of sucks if I'm honest. Kind of sucks. The question is why it wouldn't have it. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why it wouldn't have it. It seems like logical that they do it one way, it should do it the other way. Maybe that's something we can do on stream. We can push this feature to them. And then we can really have a painful stream where you guys just watch me mess with time zones for 2 hours, and yeah. I don't assume anyone's going to want to watch that though. That's the problem. All items, string. To string. Yeah, there's no from string. That's kind of annoying, isn't it? That's very annoying indeed. Daytime, set time zone, Rust. Like if we can get the daytime, like the naive one, we can set a time zone on one of those, that would be amazing. So chrono local, no, we don't want local. I'm getting tired just by looking at all of this. Should I get another Coke Zero? That's the question. Like, how long are we going to be here for? Because so far we're here for nearly 3 hours. It's going to go for longer than that because I want to finish the whole thing today. So I'm going to commit to it. Right. Realistically, I'm not reading this entire blog post just to find out how to get a time string to a date time and then a time zone on top of that. Like it would just be nice if we could like just do a dot set time zone on this thing here. Day of Redemption. Hello Al. Hello, welcome back, dude. We're now struggling with time zones, man. We were struggling with JSON parsing earlier, now we're struggling with time zones. And soon after, we're going to be struggling with databases. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely been an interesting. Yeah, passion, sacrifice, and swell, unadulterated code making. Yeah. Chrono TZ. No, we can't use Chrono TZ, surely. So we do have this. Like, it would be nice if I did have a... Can I do a mute there and then a timestamp? Timestamp set, is that a thing? Nope. Check subsigned. Time zone. Zone. This is very bad. Like, what the hell? Why can't we just have a set time zone function in all of this? This is making me just angry now. I'm just getting angry at this. This is not ideal. We're thinking about the redemption, which made more sense. You could only pick one, a third child. Yeah. I guess I was also a parent, I guess, right? I'm not sure. I would guess that he is, dude. I don't know. So you've got something in common. I'm not yet one. So maybe one day. Right now, I'm just enjoying saving all my money, to be honest. And then the children will come, I guess. And I'll have to stop streaming, obviously. No question, the kid. Really, dude? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I guess once you have a child, you kind of understand that, you know, it is an enjoyable time, right? You do enjoy spending time with a newborn son or daughter. I hope to have another one. That's very beautiful, Al. You know, to all the young people like myself here in this chat who are thinking they'll never have children, you will one day, though. It will happen, and it's just part of life, right? You will grow. It will help you grow more as a person. Remember, it's the third kid, the third one. I mean, I'm the first sibling of 3, though. I had 2 siblings, and I have 2 siblings. They're still alive, by the way. And it was fine. Childhood was fine. I mean, I had people to play with when I was a kid, right? That's what you want. You want more brothers and sisters so you can play and fight with, and throw chairs at them and stuff. I'm babbling some gibberish, yeah. A real life Pokemon. That's a good. I like that description, man. That's a very good description. But a child is like an in real life Pokemon following you around and spitting out bullshit. Yeah, I like that. And they're very funny as well, right? So nice until they get. I'm not gonna read that out. That's not PG. That is not PG. That's gonna like throw people off having kids. Anyway. Yeah, I just wanna get the time zone. I just wanna go to time zone. Rust datetime from string with time zone. Please give me something useful. When converting a string into a chrono object, you have to know what parts the input format string has. Yeah, we know this. Like, what we don't have is this time zone format here, right? I mean, I do wonder, like, if we can get the offset from GMT, so sorry, the offset from UMT, then we can just add it to the string, right? It should be fairly easy, right? Should be fairly easy. Send your Discord PM. Thank you, dude. Oh, dude, yeah, did you actually manage to solve it before I did? Here at the end of the examples. Thank you, Anton. I'll take a look at this. At the end of the example, so we have time zone, there's pause, etc2 string. Yeah, wait. I think I'm looking at the right one, yeah. Ah, okay, I see what you mean. So we create a datetime first without the time zone, and then we just pass the values to get the month, year, day, and then we do with the time zone. That works, yeah. Thank you. Actually, that's going to be very, very helpful, Anton. So that's a good approach. So let's do that. So basically, we get the date time here. Then we get a timestamp. Yeah, we can get everything here. Day, minute, which is good. But then we can do chrono tz or tz, and then we do something like US Eastern dot, what is it? YMD? What is it called? Ah, okay, yeah. So good. Good. I see what you mean. So basically, what we want to do here is we want to get the time zone, let time zone. That is going to be equals to the metadata, right? So that we have the response dot metadata dot time zone, which will look something like whatever we want it to look. So like that will be a valid time zone. And then we can do the parse there. I think that was actually in the documentation that you've just sent me. So let's see. Parse.unwrap, yeah. So tz. Is this gonna work? Yeah, so that kind of works, right? And I mean, this is kind of unsafe because we're unwrapping things here. So this probably should be error handled in the future. Did you send me more messages? I just got a few, actually. You need to parse tz, then apply it to parsed data. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I got the gist. I got the gist. Thank you, Anton, by the way. I really appreciate that, dude. I love when people solve my problems for me on stream. It just feels amazing. Like, I don't have to do any thinking. They just do it for you. Can we all get a round of applause on the chat here for Anton? Because he actually did give me a very nice resource and a very nice approach. So I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate that. So yeah, we got the time zone here, and now for every time zone we parse it naively, and then we can do whatever was in here. Let's see. So we got time zone, and then we put in the data, so the time zone, I think it's called year. Oh, does it have to be mutable? I think it has to be mutable, right? Let mute. Nope. What is this supposed to be? So time zone is a time zone object, and then dt, I guess that'll be a builder of some sort. So tz, they're using tz here. So yeah, according to the documentation, I should be able to call YMD here, which will set the year, month, and date. But there is nothing here, so I don't understand why it isn't letting me do that. Is the documentation flawed? Oh, you can convert a time zone using the from string trait. Yeah, so this we just have to kind of put it up here, I guess, right? So we have to do use chrono tz from string trait, and that may or may not be a feature flag thing. So what do we have here? Chrono TZ. Let's go on the latest one. So feature flag, default, case insensitive, arbitrary surd. Oh no, it's not behind the feature flag, so we should have that automatically to us on the default installation of the crate. Where's the documentation? So from string is a thing. Yeah, I guess we can just use that instead. I mean, whatever it says in the documentation doesn't quite work. So time zone, that will be chrono TZ. I keep misspelling TZ, by the way. TZ from string. There you go. And then we can do the response.metadata.timezone. And then we can do, now we don't have to unwrap it. This is just going to be this, right? And it's automatically error handled for us. I mean, it should crash if we have a time zone that we don't support or a time zone that's invalid. And that's what this is going to do. Going to cascade the error up there. And finally, we should be able to call this now. So time zone dot what? I still don't have those methods here. Is it because it has to be mutable? Yeah, I still don't have the methods we say we did. That is a shame. That is a very bad shame indeed. Let me just open the page I'm looking at just so you guys can see what example I'm trying to use. This one here. I'm just going to bring the tab here. So it's the very last one here. So they parse the time zone, they unwrap the result, and then somehow they're able to call .ymd here, which isn't quite working for me because I'm literally not getting these options available for me. So that is a shame. That is a shame. Question is, why am I not having that? So what they're exporting here is UTC. Really good. Think Gray. Hello, Think Gray. Welcome to the stream, my man. So yeah. Like, why am I not getting these? Why? What's time zone? Time zone is this object. And this is creating me a parse unwrap. It's out of interest. What does the documentation say they have here? Yeah, this is an enum. How does it have a function on it? I have to unwrap. Oh, good question. I do that already anyway, man. So this is unwrapping it for me. So if I don't unwrap it, it's a result. But the question mark will unwrap it, the value, or if it's an error, it will just return up to the function here, basically, as a return value. So this is already doing that. Like, I could put unwrap here, and you can see that it's the same, basically. See? Still not available there. You can define functions on enums. You can even implement traits for enums in Rust. Nice, I didn't know that. I actually never did that. But anyway, so we do have... let's see if we can do a YMD. Is that a thing? Chrono TZ, YMD. See, like, these aren't even anywhere. Like, I don't understand. Trades. TZ variant. An array of non-variant. Offset name. Yeah, I think this documentation is just straight up out of date, to be honest. They probably at some point had these functions, but now they've removed it and then left the documentation in there. That's my guess. But it's interesting though. So chrono TZ is definitely the type I'm using here. Yeah, chrono TZ from string. And that will return a result of self there. If parsing succeeds, the value inside is okay. Otherwise, when the string is ill-formed, return an error specified to the inside error. Time zone equals 5. So okay, that's interesting. Antarctica South Pole parse dot unwrap. Yeah, that is the same as this, by the way. This is the same as what I've just called here. So the I see. So yeah, it won't work in this case because I need to know the type. But that function is basically just calling this one, I'm pretty sure. Well, unless I'm not getting the right traits for it though. Right? So this is what they have here, but I can't really see the trait because that's basically just using the from string. What I'm trying to say is that this, up to this point here, up to the parse, this is equivalent in Rust. This is what Rust is doing behind the scenes. Like I could just put the thing here, so TZ, and then, oh gosh, so TZ in here. And then do a parse. But this is gonna be the same thing. Chrono TZ here. See? This is the same thing. It's just the same bit of code written in two different ways in Rust. And it's because of the way traits work, essentially. I just think that this is out of date. I don't think these are available anymore. Just because if you search for it, these functions don't come out. They just don't come out. That's all. Maybe we can look at a different part of the example. So chrono.tz is a library that provides implementers for time zone trade for chrono. The imports are generated by a build script using this, okay. Create a time zone and convert it to UTC. That's what we were kind of working with. So we have naive DT here. This is from local date time with time zone. So London time. Yeah, why? How are they getting all of these functions? This is crazy. Easy Europe London. London.ymd. So this is kind of making me think that if I do, for example, chrono TZ, and then I do US, and then I do Eastern, there will be YMD here, but there isn't. That's what I mean. This is not available to us. Maybe there is a feature flag that we're missing. We must be missing a feature flag. Yeah, I thought we're missing a feature flag, but I can't really see any default ones. There is very little structured metadata build on this page from currently. You should check the main library. I wonder what it says on the doc on the that GitHub page, if anyone's posted anything saying that the library isn't working or the examples aren't working. So chrono TZ GitHub. Let's look at the issues. So last month was the last update. Okay. So what do they have here? Pacific.ymd. So does Pacific have YMD? That's my question. So if I do chrono tz, no. So chrono tz US Pacific. Chrono tz US Pacific. That doesn't have YMD, right? Yeah. Dude, how long are we going to be stuck on this? Is the STD feature useful? The STD feature controls only one thing, the error return from string implements error. This is not useless. It's just a small thing we wouldn't implement a feature for otherwise. I'm just going to do a long shot and search for YMD here. No one's complained about that. The examples, right? Quantum release notes, feedback. In what time zone are the dates provided? Sorry, I misread the first part of the stream and I'm kind of lost. Yeah, so what we're trying to do now, for those who are just tuned in and are wondering why the hell are we working on time zones for too long. So in the metadata, you get the time zone here, right? And what I'm trying to do now is parse this time zone in Rust. So all of the data, all of the date times that we receive here will be stored in the right time zone, which is very important, of course. So you can do very efficient and precise date time conversions, right, between markets. So at the moment, we have this chrono tz library, which provides all of the different time zones available to us in constants. However, I'm really struggling to get that time zone embedded into the datetime type that is provided by the chrono library, which is the de facto datetime library in Rust, right? And they're supposed to work together. But the main reason for that is that the this documentation here for the, not this one library, documentation for the TZ library is kind of wrong. Like the examples in there aren't working for some reason. So for example, the main issue I'm having now is like when I get a time zone, I don't really have these YMD classes where you can actually set the year, month, and date. So yeah, I mean this is basically the issue, and I'm trying to figure out why I can't see it when clearly these functions are supposed to be there. So then, you know, this is the reason why I'm kind of looking at the code. So if I search for this YMD, for example, yeah, I mean, I don't know how those how those functions are generated, but like the only mention in the source code that I can see here that they've got is, you know, is in the tests. So they all call the functions just from the test. The YMD is maybe from chrono time zone. According to the documentation, the methods are defined there. Yeah, good point. So are we saying that these don't? Yeah, still, like these time zones here that we get are implementations of the time zone. So, thank you all. You just saved my life, dude. So for anyone who's wondering what's going on now and why we stuck on this for too long, so Al actually brought a good point. So Al says that the YMD is from the chrono time zone. According to the documentation, those methods are defined there. And I'm sure they are, right? I'm sure they are. So Al, you're probably not wrong. So if you look at the time zone trade in chrono Rust, right? So if we just look at the the trade itself. So we got chrono here, and we got all items, and then we have the time zone. Oh, time zone, which is a trade, right? And this will have the YMD, I'm sure, YMD, right? There you go, this has YMD in it. For all the people who have done Rust, and I'll give you maybe 10 seconds to answer this, like, why am I not able to use this function in my code here? And this is one of the very kind of annoying intrinsics of Rust. And I guess if you've done Rust for a long time, you'll probably know about this. I can't use this because it's trade for chrono. Yeah, but why can't I use here? Like, why can't I see this here, the function here? It's actually a very simple answer. I'll give you another 5 seconds or so. You have to import the trade as well. Indeed, yes, Al, you have to import the trade. And I forgot to import the trade. So that's a very good point. And yeah, thank you for your message, because that made me figure out that I was not importing the trade. So yeah. So basically I have to like use chrono daytime, or use chrono time zone, right? Which is a trade. There you go. If I do this now, I'm sure that this will come up now, right? So we have the pause there, and we have YMD. Now, I mean, it's crossed out here. I don't know why, but yeah, why is this crossed out? Ah, no, it's deprecated. It's because it's deprecated. Amazing. So, use of deprecated method, chrono time zone, use with YMD and HMS. Yeah, we can do that. Time zone with YMD and this. And this becomes quite easy now because we have the timestamp. Not day. Wait, which one was it? Year. Years? Wait, what was it? Returns the absolute year number starting from 1 with a Boolean flag. What? Wait, how do I actually get just the date, the year for this? So if I went to look at, let's not make this mutable. So timestamp dot year, leap year with year, year since what? Returns the number of whole years from the given base. So it must be year CE, right? Returns the absolute year number starting from 1 with a Boolean flag, which is false when the year predates the epoch, and true otherwise. So my question is this actually just going to return me 2024? That's what I'm wondering. I'm going to assume that it does, right? So year CE. Wait, time zone. Isn't there a function that we can just pass from local datetime? There you go. So we can just do that, right? Yeah, naive datetime. There you go. Timestamp. Beautiful. Expect naive datetime for naive. Yeah, that's fine. So we can just kind of do this. 2024 true. Yes, I thought so. Naive datetime, naive date. Okay, we got there in the end. Now all of that, just so we can pass this really annoying datetime piece here. And we have everything else now that we need. So obviously we need to get the open, we need to get, so UTC, I guess we gotta pass we gotta convert things from strings to the type, right? So string to F64 Rust. What is the best function we can use here? Is it just str parse? Yeah, just str parse. So str parse, and then we can do something like we have the index values, right? Ah, yeah. So open string. We will look at the index values here, and we're gonna get the key that we're gonna get is going to be, what is it gonna be? Alpha index update. Wait a second. Wait a second. Where are we? Let me take a step back. I need to step back again. Let's take a step back. I'm getting too deep into it. So we have this that returns myself a hash map of that. But really, I don't really want a hash map of strings here though, because I have a class that already does all the deserializing for me, right? So really what I want is, and let's take a look at the Alpha Vantage data. What I want is to have definitely a hash map between a string, but then the value itself is going to be not a hash map again. It's simply going to be a Alpha Vantage data index update. That's what it should be, because then we already have, we make use of the surd stuff here to automatically deserialize things for us. And this is where we really don't need to do all the parsing ourselves there. So the index values will just be there for us, which means we kind of just have, yeah, we can just kind of create the vector that we need here. So let's create the let me vector, I guess the prices, or simply vec. Yeah, vec new price point there. So just an empty vector there, and in here we can simply do that push back. On the prices.push, and then we can have the price list, the price point here, right? And then we can have all of them. So open is the first one, if I'm not mistaken, that'll be something, and then we have high, and that'll be something, and then we have low, and that'll be something, and then we have close, and that'll be something. And then we have the timestamp, which will be, well, timestamp. So we don't have to change that one at all. Now open is going to be index values dot open. Simple as that. It's just a very basic conversion. So okay, missing structure fields volume. That's the one. We're missing out the volume. And timestamp is going to be timestamp. So what is this doing? So let timestamp. So local result datetime. What is local result? What the hell? Does it tell me what it is? Is there an option to just pass this to datetime? To owned? What does that do? What is a local result? Oh, name for mapped local time. Single local time maps to a single unique result. Ambiguous. Okay. So really, we only want the ambiguous here, right? So, sorry, we only want the single time. If there's anything ambiguous, like we don't, this is good. I like this library. Yeah, do you guys see why I like this library? Because like it passes the datetime for you. Not only that, it will also tell you whether or not the datetime that you passed is ambiguous, or if it could be, or if it could mean like multiple datetimes, which is amazing because if you're working with datetimes, you don't really want to work with datetimes that can lead to different representing different dates. Too much data here. I'm getting like stuck with my own tongue here. Because yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that whatever datetime we're handling, that is only equivalent to one datetime, to one like time point. So I like this. I really like this. I'm starting to like this. So if what is it? Single timestamp. Yeah, so if let single timestamp so equals timestamp. Do we have this? And that's what it was, right? So can we import that? So local result of t. So it's an enum. So basically we want chrono tz. I keep putting tx for some reason. I think I'm thinking of Texas Instruments or so, whatever it is. Ti. Yeah, why is this defined again? So it's in the chrono library. Ah, okay, so it's actually in the chrono library. So chrono local result single. So we only push this if the date actually makes sense, right? Else, we're just gonna say, didn't work. We're just gonna print it out. Okay, so now I guess we should be able to debug this and make sure that it's working. We have so many warnings, so let's remove them. Let's remove one by one. Collections hash map. Wait, it's not been used? Unnecessary. Just gonna quickly remove the warnings because I don't want my compiler to shout at me for too much. These things are never read. That's probably because we're just not reading them, so there's nothing we can do about it for now. Chrono Pacific, we remove this. Control plus. So what do you mean? For importing things, yeah. I do use that though. I did press control plus dot on the single value before. It just wasn't finding it. Sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes it doesn't find the values, unfortunately. So this shouldn't be immutable. Now we should be able to go, right? So we should be able to work it out now. Oh, okay, so we've broken the the third deserialization. What have we done? Let's take a step back again. So we have a map from string to an alpha vantage index update. So this is what I did here that could have broken things. You can also remove unnecessary imports and provide code actions. Yeah, it does say what the suggestions are, right? Which is quite useful. Yeah, so we've broken the parsing here. And why have we done that? So what I've done is I essentially changed the type here. So it's going to be a timestamp string to an alpha vantage index. And where I actually parse it, alpha response. So yeah, I don't see why this is not quite working. Oh. So this is what I'm trying to parse here. So I'm saying that this is a hash map right? That takes me from a string. This is a string. And this whole thing should be deserializable to whatever this is. That's what I am trying to say here. So there is something that is wrong. And I don't know what. Volume, close or whatever. I wish it would say which particular key is missing. Yeah. Wait, so did it run? I'm confused. Yes, we're panicked here. Oh yeah, I definitely panicked up here because I'm not getting this line anyway. Huh. Or maybe it's panicking here because this is a new addition. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, no, it's definitely panicking on the deserializing code here. So this one. Yeah, we do have this. I don't understand what exactly is failing now, to be honest. This should, in theory, work. This should, in theory, work. Time to this. You cannot parse the body. Yeah, I know. I got that bit. Now, figuring out why you can't parse the body is the question, though. So time series, this variable should be deserialized into this whole thing. Time series, which is I'm saying that is a map of strings. This is the string to a map, or to an alpha vantage index update. Show me the data again. Oh yeah, sorry, this is the data, dude. So like this is the bit that's failing on. Metadata was parsing fine because it was working before and we haven't changed that. So what I'm saying here is like I want Surd to take this bit. So take this this field, which is going to be deserialized into. Oh, let me remove that flatten because that was a new addition. It's going to be deserialized into this variable here. And what this value is, it's actually a map that takes you from strings to the price structure, right? So basically, what we had before is we had that this type here was a map that goes from a that takes you from a string to a map of strings to strings. Try change the data type for items open close to string. Yeah, good point. I think that might actually work, innit? That might actually work. So let's see. Maybe it's failing to actually parse the types. It's not actually doing any conversion. Yeah, that's a good point. Surd is probably not doing any conversion. Wait, what the hell? I'm gonna just comment this out for a second just to make sure that we can compile it at least. Yeah, so it's exactly that. Thank you, Anton, again, getting another round of applause there from the chat because he was able to figure it out very quickly. Yeah, so I was expecting Surd to kind of convert these files to convert these values to what they're supposed to be, and as soon as you provide the right type here, but it's not doing that. There is a way to do that, so we're going to find that out now. So Surd convert string from JSON to F64 or something, right? There is a convert function. This realized with coercible. So using coercible worked kind of by accident. With it, the input 3.14 was stripped of its whatever. So I had that being fed into Surd JSON. So I want whatever the equivalent is. The serialization with us, this or that. Surd is only parser, isn't it? Yeah, Surd is only a parser, but it allows you to hook conversion stuff into it, like you can see here. But the thing is, I mean, I could write my own, I guess. My own deserializer that's going to take a string and then return an F64, a result. Like this guy here. A more concise custom and hence customizable version adapted from Reddit comment would look like this. It may be much safer to return none with an option when using string parsing fails. The above things like, okay. You can define your own deserialization implementation or use, yeah. So you can do that. I'm just wondering which one is going to be better. For us, I think we're going to use this or that. It seems to work fine. Let me just see if it's actually... I mean, nah, it's kind of abandoned, so maybe not this one, to be honest. Yeah, so let's just define this one. So this is an example here. Deserialize with this, and what does this actually do? So it takes a deserializer, returns that. So okay, match value deserializer, string s.parse, map error, error custom. Okay, yeah, this seems to be okay. Let me just copy and paste this in here real quick. So yeah. Import deserializer from surd. Import value from surd, JSON value. What? Deserialize F64 or string as F64, yeah. Value number. If number as x64 was all valid. Anything else is wrong type, right? And I guess I can do the same for int here, right? So I can do something like deserialize i64 as i64. Ooh. And then we can put in the result here as i64 in our case. And number as i64. ELS invalid number. And yeah. And then we can use it here. So instead of these things, so we have, where were we? We can put it just above here. I'm going to move all this stuff later into a different thing, into a different module. So right, now we can have F64 and we can have deserialize with. Is that the, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh. I'll copy this whole thing here. And then just kind of put it there. Oh, it's still running the fucking debugger. Jesus Christ. Yeah, volume was not the right one. So volume was 64, right? I64. Okay. This operator has incompatible types. The operator cannot convert F64 to string. Try using a conversion method to string. What? Which one is it? Ah, yes. All of these. Okay. There you go. Now, in theory, this should work a little bit better. So let's see. So this is all the work that it takes to support a new, I guess, a new. Oh yeah, we've already parsed here, which is good. All right, so yeah, this is going to be like the same work that we're going to do for every different like feed that we have. So we might use interactive brokers in the future or whatever, as long as we have all the stuff implemented in or interfaced properly in the trades, we should be okay. So what do I actually do here? And voila, we have everything here that we needed. Now, as one last resort, as one last stream for this, that I'll be pretty happy if we can finish it today. We can import all this data that we're getting from the feed into a database, right? So we're going to call update, and that's going to return us the data. And now we're going to basically have like a little thread that's running maybe every 5 minutes, really, right? Every 5 minutes or whatever the interval time is. So it could be a minute. If you're doing it in real time, your tick time is going to be a lot higher. So it's going to be running like every whatever interval you have, getting this new market data and then putting it into the database. So that's the idea for today's stream. So let's work on the little part, on the last part, which is getting the stuff to the database. Now, for the sake of making things simple, I'm going to use the SQLi stuff. Well, actually, I've got a MariaDB already, so I can create a new database for this instead of installing it to SQLi. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. And yeah, and then we can kind of just work from there, right? So SQL Rust. There is a very SQLX, that's the one. SQLX supports MySQL, and what else does it do? As the SQL toolkit for Rust building this. I think this particular library also has support for migrations, right? SQL X Rust. Yeah, so we do have migrations in SQLX, which is kind of good. So we can run the migrations from the program every time. Yeah, so let's see how we can create a migration in the first place with this. Well, first of all, I think we're going to have to install this library anyway to connect to a database, right? And then we can do the migrations real quick. But yeah, I mean, for the first thoughts, we just need to like kind of model the database enough to store the price points. That's all. So we're gonna have a table called prices, and I guess we're gonna have like a name for the index, right? So something like IMDb or a Google, Microsoft, or whatever, and a time point for that, and then the actual prices, which is like the open, high, low, close, and volume. And this is going to be running periodically. So every n seconds or milliseconds, we're going to be updating the database. So yeah, I think that works. I think that works for us, doesn't it? And we have like a pretty good base to actually start, I guess, integrating an API where we can actually create and you know achieve do some stock orders in the market, and that's where something like interactive brokers will come in handy in the future. So yeah, but let's get this done first. So we're going to install SQLX Rust. The reason why I'm using this one is because I know that it kind of supports migrations, and I think that's a nice little way to work things. So runtime Tokyo, that's the one we want. Tokyo plus Rust TLS. I don't know which one I need now. I think I only need Tokyo. Yeah, let's pick this one. God, guys, it's already freaking 12. I didn't realize. I think the stream is going to be going for a good 4 hours today. That's how long it's going to take us to finish this whole thing. Which isn't ideal. It should have been a lot faster than this, but it is what it is, right? I wasn't really feeling too productive today. So let's get runtime Tokyo in here. These are the runtimes it supports, right? So it supports MySQL. Wait, what? Cargo feature flags. So we want MySQL, right? Because that's what we're going to be using here. MySQL. We definitely want MySQL there. Yeah, don't worry, this was a small step for a man, but even a smaller step for the mankind. Yeah. That made me feel a lot better, dude. I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna go to bed and cry. I'm already at home. Yeah, this is something that should have only taken like a couple of hours at the very most. I guess reading the documentation and chatting to you guys also takes some time, right? So not much we can do about that. So you need to create a connection pool. This is pretty standard stuff. I've used this before once in a Rust workshop, but I do not remember what I even did in that, to be honest. I should always go to the bed proud. You are a giga chat of coding. What the heck are feature flags? So Al, when you include a library with cargo, so for example you do cargo add Tokyo, it will include the default library with it, right? Now certain libraries or certain Rust crates, they're not really libraries. I'm calling them libraries, but they're not libraries. They're very different to libraries. So the Rust crates sometimes enable extra features that you don't pull, which are feature flags. So for example, if you don't include the derive flag here in SERD, you won't be able to use all the derive macros. So when you do like derive, deserialize, serialize, that doesn't come in by default with SERD. And these things are enabled with feature flags. So yeah. That's answering your question, man. Yeah, so let's get started, shall we? Create MySQL connection. For MySQL connection, use MySQL connection pool. Yeah, we can do this. So my thought process is, we're probably going to have a connection object, right? So in the try function here, we're probably going to create a connection pool, and we're going to connect to it and make a simple query to return. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's just copy and paste this code. I see. I never made it through the Rust cookbook. Yeah, neither have I, to be honest. I use it as a reference, to be honest. I've not read the entire thing. But yeah. Yeah, let's copy this. And for SQL, we want a different one, right? So try main, we open the Vantage API key, and we want to update once, and then we want to create. So we want to save all these things, right? So save, update. So prices, call it prices. And in here, we want to do a MySQL. MySQL pool, I think it is, right? MySQL pool options. Wait, what? It's MySQL pool options. Why am I not getting that? SQL. Oh yeah, because it's in a different workspace. MySQL pool options, new. And we have max connections equals to 5. Yeah, we can do that. And then we have this. So I can't remember what the connection string will be, but I can get it from Goose, right? So we've run Goose before. There you go. That's what the connection should be. Let's hope this works. So we have root at root, and then we're gonna have something like, I don't know, what is this called? Crustradian. Oh man, I still love this name. Every time I say Crustradian, it's just so good. Like, I made this name, you know what I mean? There you go. You guys are talking about having another kid. Just make sure you name him Crustradian. They'll appreciate that. They'll certainly appreciate that. Don't worry, they won't get bullied in school. They won't get bullied at all. Just trust me. So, yeah, so these are the connection options. Now I guess we actually create the connection object, right? Oh no, we already connect here, so this is a pool. And this is the pool object the one we pass around? Is pool thread safe? Can we do it? What is it? What is pool? Struct pool. DB is a database. And what is it? Arp crate. Wait, what does this mean in Rust? Does it mean it extends an arc? So it is an arc. I guess it is thread safe. If my last name was Scary, I would have named my kids with a name starting with S so they could sign Scary. I mean, I don't assume my friend is watching, but I've got a friend called, well, his name starts with T, and his surname is quite rude. So when you do his signature, it's like, it sounds like twat. So yeah, I'm not gonna say his whole name either, but you can probably figure out now. Sorry about that, mate. I sometimes forget that I'm talking to people on stream, and I don't want to release too much information. I know you guys won't like, what's the word? When you find out someone's information and just release it online. I forgot about that. I forgot that's a thing. Field or what? Yeah, that's near enough, to be honest. That's very, very near what it actually is. It sounds electric. So, docs. I know you guys want docs me, so I don't really have any like teenagers watching me yet. So yeah, doxing, that's the one. I hope that never happens to me. I don't want to become that big of a streamer, because it's quite annoying, isn't it? Like, you're just trying to enjoy your time at home, and then people would just be like, "Oh, is this where you live?" Like, nah, this is so. It's not ideal. Not ideal. I enjoy my privacy. So we have pool and we have connections. Now, we probably want to do it in batches, but like we can kind of go through each update in prices, right? And do that connection in here, so something like that. So let row equals query select one. I don't want to query, I want to do a SQL our privacy. Yeah, I gotta, this is our privacy now. That's scary as fuck. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I mean, it could be scary in America, right? So in America, you actually get people calling the SWAT on you, and you get guns pointed at your face for no reason, just because some 12-year-old teenager decided to call the police on you. It's very scary indeed. SQLX. Right. It wouldn't be an execute, it would be an execute, I guess. Executor. This query, I mean, query is usually for like to select queries, right? But what if I want to actually execute things? Usually there's like an execute. Raw SQL. Execute. Yeah, I mean, there is an execute there. Oh, it takes a mute connection. So I do a query and then I do execute. Wait, what? Okay, right, never mind. It's just not the same as the Golang ones, I guess. Query and you bind and you fetch one. Wait, what even is this? What does bind do? Bind the value for use with it with SQL query. Ah, okay, so this will just safely replace, well, we'll just bind it. Makes sense. So what's different? What is the difference between query as and query? That is what I am wondering. Query as, this is very long documentation. I mean, I'm already tired. I'm only gonna fall asleep even quicker now, I guess. Execute a single SQL query as a prepared statement. So it seems like query as just as a preparation of it. SQL injection and that kind of stuff. Guys, I'm actually falling asleep here. I'm not gonna lie. It's already 12. I'm gonna go to bed. I will push all this code right now, I guess. And I guess we're gonna continue some other day. I mean, I'm probably gonna do this a little bit tomorrow on my own time. So if you guys are interested, I will post the link. Actually, I'll post the link to this now, so you can click on watch the. You can click on star on the repository just for the name. You know, the name kind of is worth it. The name is worth it. So I will actually post the link here, and also in the description of the stream. So go to channel.
London calling.
I love getting like adverts on my own videos just because it's just free money, isn't it? There you go. So I posted a link to the stuff on the live stream description, and also here. Free money glitch, yeah, indeed, Argovoid. I'll never complain to YouTube when it does that. But yeah, as I said, guys, I woke up very early today. Kind of woke up at like, I think it was 6:30 because I just couldn't sleep. I've been having this issue recently where I kind of go to bed at like a normal time, and then I just keep thinking about random stuff. Like sometimes even like coding stuff. Sometimes about, you know, things that are only gonna happen in half a year's time, like trips booked and stuff like that. So I'm like thinking in my head how I'm gonna plan those things, and it just keeps me awake. Those thoughts keep me awake, and I just don't go to bed. I just don't actually fall asleep until 1 or 2 a.m. And this actually happened, well, yesterday or 2 days ago now, right? So, and on top of that, I actually woke up early because it was very noisy outside, and we have like this really annoying Canadian goose. Do you guys know what Canadian gooses are? Canadian gooses are, or geese, Canadian geese are just so annoying, and they just shout whenever they want. And it was getting kind of bright at 6:30, and they just started shouting, which kind of woke me up and I couldn't sleep anymore. So basically I'm running on essentially like 4 hours of sleep. You should count the eyes in an imaginary 4 leap to sleep, yeah. See, anything to do with coding will keep me awake. What is good, however, like I've learned this method. Well, I read about this method today, so I'm going to try it out. So apparently if you just keep thinking about random words that are kind of unrelated, so for example, dog, and then football, and then tree, and then sky, and just keep doing that, and keep doing that for like a good 5 minutes, your brain will get tired, and you will naturally fall asleep, and you're also not thinking about anything in your life that's kind of active, so it's not going to keep your brain actively like thinking about something. So I'm going to try that out today. I'm going to try that out in about 5 minutes, actually. So the leap could be a Canadian geese slaughtering house machine, for instance. Yeah, it could be, dude. Yeah. I mean, I hope that you guys don't ever have to go through what I do, which is like having to wake up early because of Canadian geese. It's just really annoying. Really, really annoying. But anyway, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for sticking with me for like nearly 4 hours. It's been very fun today. I'm going to continue this project 100%. This is going to be the new Rust project here on the channel. So we had that web crawler that I eventually finished, and it kind of works now. It's not the best, not the worst, but it kind of works. And I think this one will kind of bring a few more views. I mean, it's got potential for clickbait titles, and YouTube loves clickbait titles, doesn't it? So whenever I do a clickbait titles, in fact, I'll take you guys through like my YouTube channel right now. And you can see, so like the lives that I clickbait on the title get so many more views. Like this one here, judging the subscribers C++ project live. This got 600 views in like 2 days. All the other all the other streams only get like 200 views or whatever. The videos that where I do a clickbait. So for example, you know, create perfect Docker images. For 2 weeks, this is okay for the channel. 500 is alright. This means that you'll probably go to like 1,000 in a month and, you know, keep going from there. And then the shorts, dude. The shorts are the thing. So the ones I actually do, like this one got 10K in 1 day. And all I did was just be like, call out C++ documentation for being bad and give out some hot takes on the video. YouTube loves that. So this is what I need to do more here. Anything trading in crypto will get you views. If you write a C wrapper for it, the name gets even better. C Rust trading. I love that. That's getting like, it's just so many levels of like smart naming there. I just love it. Or maybe it trades crypto and the C stands for it. Yeah. Crypto trading. Crypto trading. Yeah, it wouldn't work very well in that case. YouTube will show you in the recommendations when you get more likes and subscribers during the stream. Oh, that's good. That's good. I hope we got some. I hope we managed to get some today. But yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't done it so, of course, like the video. And I'll see you next time, right? I will see you maybe in a few days, maybe. I think it'll most likely be on Tuesday. I'm working on a new video over the weekend, so I'll be doing some voiceover. I'll be doing some code for it. It's going to be about C++ const expert for those who don't know. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave you guys to it. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.